Morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Wednesday. It's also World Hypertension Day, so it's very fitting when you're talking about our beloved hometown baseball team. Hypertension. My neck is very stiff. My computer's on still. There we go.
Get it together.
I know, dude. Good morning, my friends. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rindo, executive producer. Benjamin. Oh, hi, Paulie. How are you?
Hello.
A little frazzled. Sorry.
Go ahead. Benjamin
Higgins, Secretary of Homeland Exploration. Benjamin.
Good morning. We all are, I would say, hyper tense about the Padres. That's, of course, medically speaking, high blood pressure, which doesn't necessarily mean your muscles are tense.
No.
But we are all feeling a little on edge about our baseball team right now.
Do you get panicked when they take your blood pressure? Mine goes through the roof.
Yeah, usually.
And she's like, "Woo, you have a very, very high blood pressure." And I go, "Yeah, it's because you got that cuff out." Like, if there was another way to do it, I don't know. Maybe you knock me out and take my blood pressure, right? Put me under to take my blood pressure. I don't think it would be
like one of those thermometers where they just touch your forehead.
180 over 90.
You do a sneak attack where they don't even know you don't even know you're doing it. Yeah.
Put something in your ear. She gets that cuff out. As soon as I hear the Velcro, all you hear is bum 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 bum. And I'm like, I'm fine. I had a cup of coffee. I took an Adderall this morning. Maybe that explains it. It's the worst. It just freaks me out every time. Well, listen, it's great to be here with you guys. Had such a nice time on the Ben and Woods first stream that we did for our YouTube subscribers last night. We did about a 2 hour and 10-minute live stream of the Padre game. And we watched the game on our televisions, respectively. And then we commented and we answered questions. And I played some guitar. Ben told some killer stories about what growing up privileged looked like. And it was fantastic.
I loved hearing from some of the Tier 1 members and just getting more info on them in our chat while we were doing it as well.
But we can't give a lot of details because what happens in the chat stays in the chat.
That's
the first rule of chat.
The member stream.
That's right.
There is no.
It was really cool, and it was really fun to see you guys. And the reaction that we got was great, which blows me away. It does. It surprised me. I texted the guys after. I go, I can't believe people like us and they want to watch us chat and watch a game. But man, the ultimate dream, as you guys know, I've talked about it many times. The ultimate dream is playoff cabin. And if you have to make the playoffs to get the playoff cabin, but a big house somewhere in the middle of nowhere where it's just televisions and food and beer and wine and margaritas or whatever, and you watch baseball as a big, happy Tier 1 Ben and Woods family would be phenomenal. All of us watching the game in person together. Playoff cabin is something I really want to make happen. That said, you're not going to make the playoffs if you keep winning one, losing one to, one of the worst teams in baseball. We'll get into the game and break it down. But I also feel this morning that it is important to thank everyone that listens to this radio station up and down the dial. You could hate Ben and Woods, love Coach, and vice versa. It doesn't matter.
Welcome to everybody who gets up at 6 a.m. and listens for 4 hours who hates us, by the way.
It's funny you say that because I know
there are people out there.
Absolutely.
Somebody is raising their hand.
Why do they
right
listen?
Now.
Because they want to see what they'll say next that infuriates them. Absolutely, there are those people.
We appreciate you.
I really do.
Right?
You think that I'm some mean guy. I really am thankful. If you hate listen, it's still listening. So thank you guys for that. We had some really cool news as a station yesterday. It was really fun. And I'll be honest, I've never worked on a number one radio station in my life. And today I get that the honor, or we all get the honor of working on a number one station in town, number one, Men 2554, 97.3 The Fan. And so congratulations to everybody involved. Man, I'll say this. Our fearless leader, Adam Klug, he and I are like brothers. And brothers fight, brothers bicker, brothers argue, brothers punch each other in the arm. But brothers love each other. And that's exactly how I feel about Adam. You couldn't ask for a more committed, dedicated, willing to listen boss. than he is. He's not even like a boss. He's more of a rudder. He's a rudder. That's kind of how I look at Adam. He's a good rudder for this radio station, and he's been dealt cards that are tough cards to play, or he has been in the past, and he just dealt with them. And then he went out and he hired us, and we were his guys. We were his pick. He didn't want anybody else. He wanted Ben and Woods, and it's been an amazing 5 years together as a show, but it's been an amazing time since we've gotten here to 97.3 The Fan. And I'm mostly happy. I'm happy for us. We had really good numbers too, but I'm mostly happy for him because the guy has put up with more BS from me, from everybody, from listeners, whatever. Like, he is a really, really good boss. And he's a really, really, most importantly, he's a really good person. Like, he's a good person. Does he drive me crazy? Yes. It makes me badass crazy. But he is a good guy, and he will get into the trenches with you. I've never seen a boss say, "Oh, don't worry, I'll go down and get the audio or the video," or, he's in it.
He drives us all crazy, but I have said pretty much since we started here, like very early on, he's the best boss I've ever had.
There's no doubt about it.
And it's not
close.
Particularly close.
It's not even close. By far, he's the best boss I've ever
while
had.
maybe we get frustrated or we butt heads or whatever, that happens in the workforce.
Like, there's days he grinds me, and it's kind of like how, let's see, I'm not a grinder. You're a grinder, Ben. Ben's a bit of a grinder, right? To where if you have something in your head, and if I'm like, "Hey, what does this sound like?" Yeah, like, all right, fine, it's not good. Well, just boot it then, right? I'm not going to fight for many things, and I've fought for some things. But Adam's a grinder, and he will, like, ding, 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 knock on your forehead till you finally go, "Fine, I'll do it." Right? But he's such a good guy. I'm so happy for him to be the brand manager of the #1 station in town.
He called me yesterday. I imagine he called
He did.
everybody to just kind of give a personal congratulations, and I appreciate that very much. But I want to make sure, and hopefully he comes in today.
Yeah.
If he's here this morning in the office, we'll definitely get him in studio. But I want to make sure that we pat him on the back, or at least he gives himself a pat on the back.
100%.
That's kind of a thankless job, and it's cool that he called all of us to share the good news.
Yeah.
But it's just as much his as it is ours.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to lie. It feels very good to be part of this and, be on top.
It's very cool.
But I will also say that there's actually a kind of weird parallel to what you see in a baseball season as well. A radio station and a radio show are very much like a baseball season. You can go out and have a really good show. You can have what you feel like is a really good month, and it doesn't really reflect in the ratings. You look at it and go, "Man, we are absolutely killing it," but the audience is mediocre. We're playing 500 ball. We're a little under 500. But if you continue to put together, Adam's like the manager. He fills out the lineup. Everybody in the lineup has some different skills. They have good weeks. They have good takes. They have bad shows. They have bad. It just kind of all comes together.
Very similar.
And sometimes you win and sometimes you don't win, but you try to put as much consistency as you can in your day-to-day efforts, your day-to-day product for your listeners. You do the best job you can for them. And ultimately, in the long run, you may have a great month like we just did. Like, we hit with runners in scoring position this month. We knocked all the runners in, capitalized on some listeners. Obviously, the excitement for Padres baseball season getting started is part of that. But you just keep working every single month. And ultimately, if you do a good job, in the long run, it will reflect out. You will get, some success. You will be rewarded for the work, the talent, the effort that you put in. But on a day-by-day basis, even for a month or two, even for 6 months, it may not show up, and you're going, "Am I doing something wrong?
Yeah.
Do I need to change everything I'm doing?" And you have to face that, and we've had to do it a few times on this show since we started.
Yeah, no doubt.
Where we look and we go, "I don't know, is this moving the needle? Is anyone listening? Should we do something different?
Right.
Should we maybe make the really hard decision and not do anything different? We're not seeing success, but we believe in what we're doing, so let's double down and stick with it and just be patient and keep doing what we think are good, entertaining shows, and trust that process, and that the audience will find us if we continue to do this.
No question. That's exactly right. It's the Billy Bean from Moneyball. Do you believe in what we're doing? Yes. Then don't apologize. Go do what you do. And, just as an aside, what Adam has been able to accomplish with this station with $0 and 0 cents for marketing this station, like, it's been very grassroots. I'm very proud of it. I have sat in quarterly meetings for my entire career when I was next door, and I would hear the praise of the other stations and watch the hosts walk up and get awards and, give certificates. And then they would come to my old station and they would say, yeah, you guys lost $1 million. So you're kind of the redheaded stepchild right now. And, you sit there and you're just like, but I'm doing well. Like, I'm building something's happening. You're not giving me the tools I need to win. When we came here to 97.3 The Fan, we were given the tools we needed to win, and we've won. So I'm very happy. I'm very proud of all of you guys and Coach and Braden and Scraby and Gwen and Chris. It's been a team effort.
Sammy Levitt,
what a phenomenal addition to this team. So it's been great, man. I'm very proud, but
it's not just been great. It's been, I from what I know and have asked around in the past, I don't think a sports station has
it's never happened.
Ever been the #1 radio station in San Diego.
It's never happened. It's awesome.
It's probably happened in Chicago during a Bulls run, Philly during one of their multiple runs or whatever. You know what I mean? Like 1 month, the sports station was all anybody cared about.
Yeah, New York.
It's never happened in San Diego. It's never even been close to happening.
No, and you think about where this station came from. I mean, look, let's be honest. The station was a joke. We thought it was a joke, when it was the machine and all of that. That idea was so far-fetched and it was never. They had a guy on here named Mike Hawk, okay? Say it real fast, Ben.
Yeah,
Actually,
Ben.
on the air, Mike Hawk.
Mike Hawk,
Mike Hawk was his name. Mike Hawk.
like the bird.
Yes.
Hawk.
They had that guy, and they're in here doing,
He's part of the men's room.
It's show us your tease Thursday. I mean, stuff like that. Like, that was never going to fly in San Diego, ever. It was, the minute I heard about it, I went, you got to be kidding me. You had, who here in the morning. And it was a dumpster fire. And 5 years later, 4 years later, whatever it's been, to be #1, puff your chests out, fellas, because everybody deserves it, especially you, Adam. Now, the best part of being #1.
Let me read a thread.
We didn't get this, it's not like, hey, we're #1 station. Here's a big fat bonus check. Our bonus came in the form of a photo yesterday, a photo from one Adam Klug. He showed us this picture.
Real ones will remember. We talked about this photo for weeks.
And this happened like right when we got here. He showed us this picture of himself in college. And I fell out laughing. He looks like a Beastie Boy, like a very young Beastie Boy. And I go, I'd send it to me. I'm going to post it right now. He goes, no, this photo will never see the light of day.
Like, I don't know how old he is in this picture, but I'm like, he thought the FBI was going to track him down and be like, sir, were you 19 years old with a beer
in your hand?
He was like, there's no way. I'll end up in post-game threads as a meme. Like, you guys cannot post
post it.
He would not give us the photo.
He goes, all right, I'll tell you what. If we ever reach #1, I'll give you guys the picture. And son of a bitch, if he's not a man of his word, that SOB sent it over yesterday, and I fell out laughing again.
Here's the thread that Adam tweeted yesterday. He said, over 2 years ago, I was working with Ben and Woods and showed them a picture of me from college that they begged for so they could drag me on Twitter. After repeatedly saying no, I promised them I'd give it to them when 97.3 The Fan became the #1 radio station in San Diego. Not Ben and Woods' #1 show, the whole station. Says then 2.5 years later, I couldn't be more proud to announce that 97.3 The Fan is the #1 radio station in all of San Diego in our target demo. I'm so proud of all of our staff. And of course, we couldn't have done it without our amazing audience. I am a man of my word. Here is the picture Ben and Woods talked about relentlessly on air back in January of 2021.
Man.
Now I'm logging off this app while I get memed into oblivion. If you're on the YouTube stream,
oh
there
my
it is.
God. He is all of 4'9".
Joe Cool personified.
He
right
is
there.
all of 4'9". He's in a white shirt. I'm going to describe it for the rest of you guys. 4'9". He's holding a Michelob, straight up, a bottle of Michelob. His arms are outstretched like he's the king of the castle. And then you look at the hair, and it's now he doesn't bick. Is he got a very tight do now?
Yes.
Does he bick it? Is it bald?
It's just a tight buzz cut.
Buzz cut.
Yeah.
Well, this is he has an afro. He has a big curly bushel of
full-on afro.
He hates this word, but it looks like a big thing of pubes on his head. That's what it looks like. It looks like a pube wig. And so he's got it, and that's what
Those Brillo pads.
Yes.
that you
Thank you.
scrub
That was probably a better
scrub pots
description.
with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Better description.
Oh my
A
god.
big pile of Brillo pads on his head. And that's what he rocked with in college. Look at the eyes there. He's clearly on marijuana. Clearly he's been smoking marijuana, injecting marijuana cigarettes right into his veins.
It's the University of Georgia. I don't know if that's a dorm.
That's
or
got
a
to be
hotel.
freshman year.
Yeah, it looks like a dorm, right? Like
Well,
like a dorm hallway.
And he's holding that Michelob in his hand like, who wants some? It's
Got both
basic-
hands
Yeah,
up.
both hands up. It is.
Yeah.
I almost died. He looks like a Beastie Boy. He looks like he looks like the Beastie Boys' cousin that they said, you're not allowed to be in the band.
All right. Answer this question, though. Do you think he ever thought he would really have to deliver on that picture?
No.
Or was it a big, like,
He'll
hey,
say
if the
"Oh, I
A's win the
believed in
World
you."
Series this year, promise.
I'll do it.
Hey, I'll do that.
Oh, if the A's win the World Series this year, Ben, name it. What do you want me to do?
I'll do the show naked.
I'll rappel down the building nude. Right. Like, it's not happening. So I think he felt pretty safe. But sure enough, man, with enough hard work and enough luck and balls that bounced our way, number one station in San Diego. Let's keep it rolling. The not so fun part about being number one is there's nowhere to go but down. So now you have to keep rolling. And but we couldn't do it without our audience, the tier ones, and everybody else that listens. I really thank you. You guys have made us you've made us incredibly happy, and I'm incredibly moved and thankful.
Well, let's start with something fun rather than just dive right
More
into
fun
another
than
loss.
than Brillo had.
Well, no, something
I can do
fun
4 hours
on the Brillo.
something
on
fun
Adam.
related to the game last night, and that was Jesse and our incorporator from yesterday on television with Mud Grant. Plus, little bonus yesterday, if you were listening to our interview with Jesse and something he said, and Woods asked him about Mud, that transpired then during the game as well. We'll bring that bonus audio to you. Daily Diddy, it's Paul's selection. My positivity theme worked for one day.
Yeah.
Paul, you're going to need to pick a better song than Woods did yesterday, obviously.
God,
that
terrible.
didn't work last night. We'll see what Paulie comes up with. And then we'll get into the show. It's an Adam Jones Wednesday. We'll talk to AJ at 7:35. Our regular features Don't Do This, Take on Woods, all coming up right here on San Diego's number one station.
I love it. It's a nice ring to it.
97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back after a check of traffic.
There's a little bit of Giants loving, but I can get behind it. Can absolutely get behind it.
Kind of thought it was just a throwaway. I mean, the theme was what songs about optimism and
This is about as optimistic.
happy.
It's about as optimistic as you can get.
I was looking through other options and I didn't like any of them.
Yeah.
I just wasn't in the mood.
I looked at some yesterday too, and I went, "Oh God, I don't feel optimistic. I don't." Last night was one of those games where you look at and it's hard to be optimistic about losing to the Royals, who gave you every chance and kicked it around. Looked like they had no interest in winning that baseball game. But, oh boy, it was something.
We'll get into that. Let's talk about the Incorporator though, and Jesse Agler taking his talents to television last night on the Bally Sports broadcast with Mud Grant. We had Jesse on yesterday. If you listen to Ben and Woods Tuesdays throughout the baseball season, comes in, shares his thoughts, and then we give him an Incorporator word. Woodsy picked the word yesterday. Was Sialoquent. We have the audio. We have the audio here.
Yes.
I've got a word.
All right.
I've got a word. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I had Paulie pull it.
Sialoquent.
Sialoquent. You ever heard that word before?
Sialoquent?
Sialoquent.
Spell it.
No.
Sialoquent. The definition: tending to spray saliva when speaking. Ben is very sialoquent. Very sialoquent. I've seen you be sialoquent before.
Well, everybody is once in a while.
Yeah,
but not
one
consistently.
spits out. Yeah.
So
Gets
I
away.
mean, we realized there were times in a baseball game where you argue with the umpire. People can get sialoquent during a baseball game. But how was Jesse, especially sitting in a TV booth with Mud there, producers in his ear? You got video to deal with. How are you going to work it in to the Padres Royals broadcast? And we were in, what inning were we in?
This
Paulie?
was it was late. You guys
Late in
had
the game,
left
yeah.
the stream last night. I stuck around for an extra inning with the crew, and it was the bottom of the 8th inning, and Matt Carpenter at the dish.
Tying run at first base with one away. On the outside corner, and strike 3 call.
Carpenter didn't like it.
Yeah, I remember this. I remember this
Having
game.
a slightly
This spot.
sialoquent conversation with the home plate umpire, Charlie Ramos, and that's the second out of the inning.
He slipped that. You know what? I was watching that, and he slipped it in so well that I think I even missed it. Because
Carpenter having a slightly sialoquent conversation with the home plate umpire, Charlie Ramos.
I heard it, and I missed it. That's crazy how good he is at that. Very accurate, though. It was a strike, by the way, Matt Carpenter.
Yeah, it's
He's taken so many outside corner pitches that he doesn't think are strikes,
and they're strikes.
lately, and
Yeah.
they are strikes.
they're strikes.
I mean, I could.
It's not like Juan Soto, who's actually
he's getting
screwed.
I feel like a half dozen
rat
times
effed.
in the last week, you've seen him take a strike 3 on the outside corner that, at least in the moment, he didn't believe was a strike.
It was
But
such
it lights up the zone.
It was an ugly ass pitch. It was it missed location. It was up, but it lit the zone. You can make the case that as ugly as it was, as bad as it missed location, it was still a strike. And again, we talked yesterday about Juan Soto and some of the calls. The calls that Juan Soto are getting against him aren't the ones where you go, hey man, it's too close to take.
Yeah.
This one though, and the ones that have been happening to Carp, those are too close to take with 2 strikes.
And Soto had another good game. I
He
mean,
did.
hit the ball hard. Obviously, he had one chance to come through where he could have, tied at the game or given the Padres the lead. Didn't happen because, well, never happens with runners in scoring position right now for the Padres. But
broken.
we'll get into that. But there was one other moment, if you were listening to our interview with Jesse yesterday, and we got talking about working with Mud, Mark Grant on television, as opposed to Tony Gwynn Jr. on the radio. And Woodsy made an observation that he has noticed over the years about our good friend Mark Grant.
Does Mud do to you what he's done to me 1,000 times? Mud will get all excited about something and go, here, you got to watch this video. And then he'll pull it up on his phone and hold the phone into your face. And you're like,
Yeah.
That's hysterical. Mud. Does he do that to you? Does he show you a lot of videos on breaks?
On breaks, on buses, on airplanes, in hotels.
He does that bit so much, man.
Oh, it's not a bit. I mean, he's genuinely enthusiastic.
I mean, it could be anything. It could be, check out this clip from a documentary I was watching. Or it could just be like, oh, you know what?
Big
My
YouTube guy.
my nephew swings the bat like that. Here, I think I got a
Yes,
video
here's
of him
a video.
somewhere.
It's-
Hang on, let me find it. Hang on 1 second.
And you sit and he's like, hang on, I'll find it. And you just sit there
10 minutes go by.
rotting, waiting. And then the payoff is never as good as the story. I'm like, Mud, you're a great storyteller. Just tell me the story. I'm on board.
There have been nights on the road where I will get a knock on my hotel room door,
No.
and he wants to show me a YouTube
Oh my
clip.
God.
of
No,
one.
my God. How do we stop him? He must be stopped. Like, we have to stop him.
He loves to share his love and share his enthusiasm.
So, with that story as the context going into the game last night, we all had to double take when we heard this interaction between
Yeah.
Jesse and Mud. This was like the third inning, right? Earlier in the
Bottom of
game.
the second
inning.
and I want to shout out one of our guys, Jameson, was the one that pointed this out, and I go, I need to know when this was because I need to go back and hear it. Bottom of the second inning. Listen to this clip and tell me if you think Mark Grant might have been listening yesterday morning to our show.
So just shy of a broken ankle.
Talking about
For
Manny
most
last year.
guys, you're going to be out 2 months with that kind of injury. Manny missed 11 games and never went on the IL.
You know what? I've got a still shot of that on my phone, and I get nauseous when I look at it because his ankle is like not supposed to bend that way. I'll show it to you in between innings.
No thanks.
Same bit.
Backhanded it short by Witt.
Same bit. He's incredible.
I'll show it to you in between innings.
Yeah,
No thanks.
we know that you
I
will.
love Jesse with the no,
No,
thanks.
thanks.
I'll show it to you in between innings.
No thanks.
So dry, so good. I love that. I love it so much.
All right, so that there
That's
was
about there's the
there was the
extent
fun.
of the fun.
There was the fun. We will have. I just found out Adam Jones going to be pushed back to 8:35. We got plenty of time then to discuss it all. We will come back. Our wrap up ensues. Do not go anywhere.
Yeah,
It
don't
is
miss the wrap up.
Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports
I
station.
saw a lot of good things yesterday.
97.3
get to
The
that
Fan.
in the wrap
It's just going to be a surprisingly positive wrap
This
up.
could be a
Paulie,
Oh, yeah.
think?
this could be
Okay.
an interesting wrap up.
All right, it's coming up next year on The Fan.
on a Wednesday. A little bummed. Can't deny it. How about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely, as a Padres fan, been disappointed.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. With that in mind, we got a wrap up coming up next.
Yes.
We can make chicken salad
Out of chicken ass.
out of chicken bleep if we have to. I don't want to have to do it, but we're going to try. Coming up after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Premier Buick GMC of Carlsbad. That crash has cleared on northbound 5 at the Garnett exit. Got this accident involving a motorcycle on the transition map, northbound 805, right at the northbound 15 connector. And we are getting reports of a surfboard in the bus lane on westbound King Freeway right before the 5, and there's a vehicle pulled over to the right shoulder that might be the responsible party. Brought to you by Premier Buick GMC of Carlsbad with all new 2023 GMC Sierra 1500 elevation package trucks, $4,000 off MSRP, over 15 in stock to choose from. Stop in or shop online at carlsbadbuickgmc.com, a proud member of the Premier Carlsbad family of dealers. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Paulie.
Miss any of yesterday's
Marlins.
game?
That's the game last night.
Well, we've got you covered. It's the
Marlins.
Wrap Up with Ben and Woods, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
This about damn. 1-2 the count to Luis Arraez. The Marlins have been down to their final strike, and the pitch is lofted in the air down the right field line. A base hit for Luis Arraez. Rounding third and scoring is Garrett Cooper.
Let's go.
And it's a 2-out knock. And an RBI for Arraez here in the ninth. The Marlins are within 1. It's 4-3. 3-2 the count to Soler. Here's the pitch. Swing and a drive. Hit deep. Left field. Way back. We're going home for the first time in his career. Jorge Soler. It's a walk-off homer, and the Marlins beat the Nationals by a final score of 5-4.
Oh, my heart.
Come on, Marlins, make us proud.
It was spectacular. Spectacular
What a
win
game.
from the boys last night. Spectacular
How we
win.
feeling, Miami?
Walk off.
South Beach, we're taking your calls this morning.
100%. Nobody's awake in South Beach right now. No one. Or they haven't slept.
They're getting ready for game 1 of the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals as well.
That is true. That is true. Man, what a win by our beloved Fish last night. Well, listen, I mean, at this point, maybe we're the Marlins. They're battling so hard. I'm so proud of our guy, Skip Schumacher. Man, they're 21-21 in that division. Remember that division that everyone said is going to be chew them up and spit them out? They're in second place right now.
It's a little bit of levity for us, but in many ways, the Marlins are the opposite of the Padres. Team with low expectations, team that has been outscored by more runs than any team in the National League.
Correct.
Yet they're now 13-1 in one-run games. Their expected win-loss record right now, 15-27.
That's amazing.
Their actual win-loss record, 21-21. The Padres, meanwhile, have an expected win-loss record of 21-22. They're actually 20-23, but their one-run record, 3-7.
That's brutal.
Marlins 13-1, Padres 3-7, Padres 0-4 in extra inning games. They're not coming up with the close wins. The Marlins are sneaking out every single close win that they can right now this season. The only team that is probably getting less out of more than the Padres is the Cubs.
No, you mean the Marlins.
No, getting less out of more.
Oh, less out of more.
Yeah, the Cubs are 19-23. They're 2-8 in one-run games. They should be 24-18 according to their expected win-loss. But, other teams, the Mets are 20-23, right? A little better than they should be. The Phillies are 20-22. That's actually better than they should be right now. But the Marlins are getting a ton out of just the very little that they do. The runs that they score, they have maximized them. They win close ones. They lose blowouts. It hasn't been the case for the Padres this season.
I mean, after 42 games, I wonder if even our beloved Skip Schumacher thought, yeah, we'll be hanging around 500. I know in your mind, you want to get the best out of your guys and everything else, but I bet you there's even an element of surprise that they're playing as well as they are, being at 500. Now, listen, somebody DM'd me last night about the Padres loss, and she said, man, that was a tough one. I go, it was really tough. I go, I'm pretty mad about that game. And she goes, I am too. She goes, all I did though, I went to the standings and I looked at the Mets and the Phillies. I looked at their record and it made me feel a little bit better. And I said, I get it. I get that frame of mind because there's great expectations for those two teams as well. And they're both middling around, the same record as the Padres right now. All we can worry about though, our job is to worry about the San Diego Padres. And yes, I'm absolutely worried about this team. Worried. Like I know in my heart and in my head that there's still plenty of time to work it out. But you see games last night like that, and we said it on the stream, Ben, when we talked about it, 5 runs felt like Mount Everest. I mean, it really did. And I was very, very pleased to see them battle back. But to watch them completely soil themselves in the last couple of innings with a chance to tie the game, win the game, even perhaps get Fernando Tatis Jr. to the plate, to watch some really uncompetitive at bats, to run into outs twice on the base paths, and we could talk about that. That was a tough watch, man. The Royals tried everything they could do to give you that ball game, everything that they could do, and to blow a 5-run lead, and you didn't capitalize.
Yeah, like almost every one of the Padres' 23 losses, there are parts of the game where you thought, all right, they're playing well, they're fighting, and then there were other parts that just look like you have no chance and it's not going to happen. And you just wonder how in the same game the Padres can look like such two different teams at the same time. How can they get hits? They usually have as many or more hits than their opponent, but never with runners in scoring position. Happened again last night. Padres were 0-for with runners in scoring position. 1 hit with a runner in scoring position, like we've said probably a dozen times.
It's the most broken
changes
record.
A loss to a win again, which is why we keep saying, well, obviously this is going to turn around. You can't go 0 for runners in scoring position
for the season.
Every single night. Your low at your 198 average went down again last night. It's almost unfathomable. So you keep saying the same thing. Well, obviously it's going to turn around because every other team in the history of baseball that has hit this low with runners in scoring position, it's turned around for. Will the Padres be the first team in the history of baseball that it didn't turn around for at some point?
Does it feel like the answer to that question is a resounding yes right now? It does. I'm not a moron, though, and I don't think any of you guys are morons either. I can't keep saying it, though. That's the thing, is I can't keep the same broken record of, I'm sure it's like when we play the Dodgers. I always get tired of hearing classy and no rings and everything. I'm tired of saying the phrase runners in scoring position, RISP. I'm tired of the RISP. It's a broken record at this point for this team. It's a broken record. And let's be honest, even the runs we got, you don't feel like you really went out and earned those runs, right? They gave you a bunch of free bags and you were able to take a small advantage of it to get some of those runs.
Scored 4 runs. You're still 0 for 5.
0 for 5.
Runners in scoring position.
Right. And again, the game you won. Now listen, and I said it on the airwaves yesterday. I'm not going to bitch about that win. Just like if they had pulled that game out last night, I would not be bitching about the runners in scoring position. I would come in here and tell you, hey man, win's a win.
No, you bitch about it when they lose, though.
Yeah, when you lose, when you lose, that's when you say
almost direct correlation.
It's an absolute correlation.
Can I say I'm not worried about the runners in scoring position thing turning around. It will. It will. Every other team in the history of baseball has finished well above 198 with runners in scoring position. The Padres will as well. What I worry about is what happened last night, and that is the Padres have gotten such good, consistent starting pitching that they're bound to have a point in the season where they don't get good starting pitching. And yesterday, Seth Lugo, after what looked like sharp first inning, right? I went 1-2-3 really quick, strikeout, very fast inning.
Yep.
Then comes out in the second inning, and the Royals string some hits together. Now we found out after the game that Seth Lugo was removed due to a strained calf. Bob Melvin said it happened on the last play of that inning, so not blaming the injury for the 5 runs allowed, but the Padres right now are not going to be able to overcome very often a 5-run inning in a game. Most teams can't. I said on our stream last night, you get down 5. I don't know what the stat is in Major League Baseball, but my guess is 95 to 98% of the time you lose a game when you're down 5 in a Major League Baseball game. There's just not a lot of comebacks, and they came back. They came back with 4. They had chances. They had the go-ahead run at the plate later in the game, and they could not come through. I will give them credit for fighting back, even if the Royals gave them some of it. The relief pitching did a great job in locking them down for 7 shutout innings, giving the Padres an opportunity to win that game, but they didn't seize the opportunity at the end because they couldn't get a hit with runners in scoring position.
And I don't know what you do. I was texting with some friends last night. I was texting with our buddy Big Mark, who knows a lot about the minor league systems. And I was at the point last night. I had the inner George Steinbrenner going on of saying, all right, man, who is anyone hitting in AAA that could help this ball club today? You see it in, I don't know, on almost every other team. We keep cycling in Brandon Dixon and guys like that it seems like they're a 4A player. I don't think Brett Sullivan is the answer, a catcher. The not being able to catch, I think, is a vital part of the position. He boxes a lot of balls. Ben gave him a free bag that ended up turning into a run last night. So it's not all on him. It's not all on Austin Nola. But at this point, man, to keep rolling those 2 guys out there, I don't know is the right answer. So he said, yeah, what's the guy's name? Is it Rivas?
Rangel Ravello?
No. There's
Tim Lopes.
No. He's not
Alfonso Rivas.
Rivas is the first baseman. He's hitting pretty well.
He's got an OPS of 1,039.
Yep. And who the hell's the catcher?
In 317.
I had this.
The catcher they've got Yorman Rodriguez.
That's not him.
Right now, he's got a 911 OPS. They also have Pedro Severino.
Severino, that's the one. Pedro Severino.
And he's at 876 at an OPS.
I mean, your offense can't be worse. It can't be worse.
Those numbers, though, don't translate. They're AAA numbers. It's Pacific Coast League.
Then get your team out of El Paso, or you're never going to call up another player. Like, if that's the case, you can't get him up because he can't, he's hitting at El Paso. He's an El Paso merchant. What are we doing here then? Where are we developing these guys? Can they? Is he going to be worse than what we're seeing from Nola and Sullivan behind the dish?
I don't know.
How could you be? You're getting almost no production.
I mean, Brett Sullivan is actually worse than Austin Nola.
Correct.
He's not hitting, and he has a pass ball or 2 every single game.
He also doesn't throw out.
He's
runners.
not throwing out any runners. And my guess is that the pitching staff, Austin Nola, continues to work better with the pitchers than Brett Sullivan does. So you brought up Brett Sullivan. He's doing worse than the guy that you had.
Right.
Maybe his average is a point or 2 higher, but honestly, I'd rather have Austin Nola behind the plate right now than Brett Sullivan.
The first baseman, the first base situation, as far as any sort of I know Crony hit a triple last night. That was great. But I think why not try something else at this point? This is the definition of insanity. You can't just keep putting the same guys.
Now, a lot of these guys aren't on the 40-man, so you may be having to release players to call up guys, or, is there any more players you can put on the 60-day disabled or injured list? I'm not sure. That's part of the equation as well. You can't just say, well,
let's call him up, send him down.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a limited number of players you can do that with.
I think it's Odor. Thanks for the month and a half.
And
first
then
baseman,
it's like
bring up somebody that can play first, and then platoon Kim and Cronenworth.
Such a nice knock from Odor, and then
it was great.
You get picked off.
I've got to imagine that those 2 pickoffs were what angered Padres fans the most. Let's talk more about those when we come back. Hour number 2, we'll also play some Take on Woods, try to qualify someone for a trip to Las Vegas in our musical trivia game. It is all coming up next on San Diego's #1 station, Men 2554. Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
1-2 swung on, line drive into right field, base hit. Fernando Tatis Jr. is there. He's going to come up throwing. They're going to try to get the third. Here comes the throw. It is way ahead of him. He's gunned down on the cannon by Fernando Tatis Jr., and you can hang a star on that one. Vinny Pasquantino challenging Fernando Tatis Jr., and he comes up short.
I think without a doubt, the best moment of the game last night was that throw by Fernando Tatis Jr. I think it was the top of the 7th inning to nail Pasquantino at third base. Just
a strike.
96.8 miles an hour. The second hardest thrown put out by an outfielder in Major League Baseball this season. Behind only, of course, the 100-mile-an-hour throw to the plate by Fernando Tatis Jr. last week.
We would be remiss if we did not give a big, hearty shout out to one Drew Carlton making his Padres debut last night. Wow. I thrown into a situation where, hey, man, just do your best, keep us in the game. He was spectacular last night, you guys. Spectacular. 3 innings pitched, gave up 2 hits, no runs, most importantly, no walks, struck out 3. And what a rad moment for him last night. If you had been able to come back and scratch out, a run or 2 and get Lugo off the hook after really his first clunker as a Padre. And we were talking about on the stream how much we liked the way that Lugo throws and how he battles, how he has gone out and attacked the zone. Couldn't find it, man. Could not find the release point. The curveball was hanging last night. They were pounding those pitches. They were all cookies, and he could not spot the fastball. You're in deep S at that when that happened.
It was, 8 bad minutes?
Yeah,
it was
8 bad minutes, man, and it turns on you like that.
The Royals really did nothing else the entire game.
Nothing.
Other than 1 inning.
Shout out to Carlton, but shout out to the rest of the bullpen.
Yeah,
I mean, they
true.
shut them down.
Right there, man. Garcia,
shows,
Wilson, Martinez, Hader.
It shows you, though, it's actually almost more important in baseball to just have 1 good inning than it is to play a good baseball game.
Fair enough.
To have 1 inning where you string some hits together, and they scored 5 runs. That's the 3rd time this season the Royals have scored more than 5 runs in an inning. They have an 8-run inning, 2 5-run innings. The Padres, 0. They have never scored 5 runs.
We didn't score 5 in Mexico.
They've 4 runs in 1 inning in Mexico. It's their only 4-run inning of the season. They're not stringing hits together. It's the most. It really is the most important thing in baseball, and the Padres aren't doing it. The other thing is, don't do stupid things that give away baseball games. The Royals really tried.
They really did.
But then
diving for a ball that is 40 feet in front of you in center field and letting it get to the wall.
But then the Padres did it right back with 2, not 1, but 2 outs on the base paths with the tying run on base in the final 3 innings. Adam Engel and Rougned Odor both picked off at first base. Adam Engels, I will say, he was caught stealing.
Yeah.
No, he was picked off. He was picked off.
Yeah, he's picked off.
He was picked off.
Yeah,
I mean,
throw over.
He was trying.
He went first move.
He was trying to steal,
so he
but
goes
they didn't throw the pitch. He got picked off, and they threw him out at second. But they were both picked off.
So again, what do we always say? If you go, okay, make sure you make it, right? And they had him pretty good. He's fast. He's got wheels. That's why he's on base. He's trying to get in scoring position. On a lefty like Chapman, you go first move and you pray.
And you're down 1. You're trying to get into scoring position to tie the game. It may have been something, even the steal sign was on there to get him over. And I believe they said for Odor, it was on as well. But that doesn't excuse not, you have to be able to go after the pitcher has started his motion. You can't get picked off in that situation.
No, you just can't.
And this is the surprising thing as well. A lot of teams get undone by their bench because you got some younger players who don't have the experience, who are learning on the job. AJ Preller specifically didn't do that. He's going with a bench of guys like Odor, who has been in the league. He's 29. He's been in the league for 33 years, even though he's 29 years old.
True.
You expect that those guys are not going to be the ones who are making those kind of mistakes. I mean, if they do, you might as well just have young guys in there and give them a shot.
That whole scene right there was really a 3-pronged F up. If you want to be completely honest and break that part down, which really that is such a nasty turning point in the game. So you've got Odor being caught completely flat-footed. You can't get picked off by a righty there, number 1. Lefty gets you. He throws a Weathers move at you or a Lauer move or a Lucchese move at your Andy Pettit, you're like, oh my God, he froze me. You can't get picked off by a righty if you're Odor there. You just can't. You got to be watching the back foot. You got to know I cannot get picked off here. I am the winning run at this point. Okay. He actually did, after that, a pretty decent job of staying in a rundown. Xander Bogaerts is 30 feet off the bag. He's got 60 to go. At that point, you're screwed. You got to go. When Pasquantino turns as a lefty, Mud was talking about this last night. When he turns as a lefty to make that throw to second, as soon as the ball leaves his hand, if he dekes you, he dekes you. If he puts it in his pocket and throws you out at the plate, fine. It's on Odor anyway. You got to commit. You got to take a chance.
But
there.
Odor is going to be out 99 out of 100 times. So you've got to, and you may be out 98 out of 100, but you still do have to go.
The inning's over, so it's like you got nothing to lose.
You got nothing to lose.
Interesting.
You have to basically know that Odor he's dead.
He's a dead man. You got to score before they get him.
Now, if there's one out, you want to stay at third. You can still score. But with 2 outs, you do have to go. So here's what Bogaerts had to say.
But hold on. There's one more part of that not a lot of people are talking about. That is a situation where the hitter at the plate needs to be aggressive and needs to hit a 2-0 cookie down the middle. If you're not ready as Ha-Seong Kim to pounce on a 2-0 pitch with the tying run on third, that's a problem. Now, it's not his fault Odor got picked off, but the pitch before was a 2-0 cookie laid in for strike one. 2-0 is the time you want to unleash.
Unless he was given a take
sign
to allow Odor to steal second to try to get the winning run into scoring position. So I want to at least put that caveat out there because that was a great pitch to hit that he looked at. So first of all, here's what Odor had to say. Before I give you the quotes, let me give you the phone numbers for Take on Woods. 833-288-0973. We're about 2-3 minutes away from our game, so call in now. 833-288-0973. For Odor, he said, he got me. I got nothing to say. He got me. I should have stayed closer or something to not get out.
He was pretty close too. He just went the wrong.
He just went too soon and got caught.
It's just that little
hesitation.
For Bogaerts, a little more complex. I still agree with you, Woods. He said they were really solid on that play. I don't know if they run something like that in spring training, but every 1 or 2 steps they took, they looked right at me. I can't go nowhere. I disagree with that. Even though they're looking at you, you have to make them make that decision. Fake the break and make them make a throw in front of you, behind you. Fake a break and then go back to third. Maybe you get back to
game
third
defensively. Make them make a play.
Yeah. You do have to go, Xander, in that situation. Even if they're looking right at you with 2 outs and your guy caught up in a rundown that he has almost no hope of escaping, you must take off and run and try to make something happen in that situation. Didn't do it. Padres out of the inning, and the triple whammy of it all. Because of that, the Padres had their 7-hitter, Ha-Seong Kim, up. Instead of having, at the very worst, if Ha-Seong Kim makes an out and the inning's over, you got 8-9-1 coming up in the 9th inning. You guarantee that Fernando Tatis Jr. will have a chance to tie or win the game in the 9th. But because they made the out on the base paths, you had 7-8-9. They didn't get anyone on, and Fernando Tatis Jr. died in the on-deck circle. Not that he would have won the game for sure. I have no idea. I would have loved to have seen him get the opportunity in the 9th inning to come to the plate. It was a triple whammy of bad base running that cost you in that game last night.
Terrible, man. Horrendous. It's the way things are going right now. I don't know how you turn the tides. I really don't. Guys, you got to step up. You got to step up. You got to go beat inferior teams. And, that's a bummer that Lugo had the outing he did. Again, kudos, credit to the bullpen for keeping in that game. Kudos and credit to the Padres for battling back. But you fell short. And at the end of the day, there's no style points for wins. It was an ugly-ass loss. It was an ugly, ugly loss.
Well, and now it's as much of a must-win as a game can be in May.
No question.
You got to win this series.
Got to win.
Look, of course, it's not an actual must-win. You're not eliminated if you lose or anything like that. But I was reading Kevin Acey's daily newsletter. He said a loss today would drop the Padres 4 games below 500 for the first time this season. They would have won just twice in 11 games if they lose today. That would be their worst such run since the historic season-ending collapse in 2021, and that would put them 9-9 against other teams with losing records. It'd be no better than tied for the 9th best record in the National League.
Mark Anthony tweets in or on the chat, says, I swear we were talking about the same lack of offense last year. Yeah, but they won games.
We were talking about lack of slug.
Lack of slug. They won baseball games. They won enough baseball games to get into the playoffs. And I still think that they are going to make the playoffs. I do. But man, obviously it goes without saying, you keep playing like this. No, you're not. This is going to be even more historic than 21. But you gotta do something. So there needs to be some sort of shakeup.
We'll talk about more of what should be done going forward. Right now, though, let's get to our daily game. It is time to take on Woods. All right, we got Steven against Steven today. We got Steven on the line. Good morning, Steven.
Good morning, Ben. How are you?
I'm good. If you've noticed, we got a theme week here on Take on Woods. If you can beat or tie Woodsy, we'll put you into our grand prize monthly drawing. Get away to Las Vegas.
Please get
2 nights.
one right. I'm just one.
Yeah, we've had our contestants are 0 for this week. Woods was 0 for on Monday, so kind of like the Padres. Everyone's scuffling a little bit. 2 nights at the Westgate. Tickets to Little River Band. On August 5th, 2023 at the International Theater at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. So our theme this week is called It Ends in Love, and we've got different genres. We already played newer music, and we did the 80s yesterday. So your choice is either the oldies or the 90s, Steven, which one would you like?
By oldies, what'd you say? What,
65 to 75.
Like, okay, I'll go ahead and try oldies.
All right. So the category this week, It Ends in Love. All song titles end in the word love, and this category is released between 1965 and 1975. So you'll have 5 questions, 60 seconds. We'll start with our 2-second song. You need to give me the title and the artist to score that point, and then we'll go in from there. And then Woodsy comes in, does his part, and we'll see if you can win or not. So, Steven, are you ready to play?
Yes, sir.
All right. Remember the category. It ends in love. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Steven. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
The title of which 1966 Supremes classic was Mama's Advice about being patient in matters of romance?
You Can't Hurry Love.
Correct. The 70s featured 2 different hits with the same title, a 1974 easy listening tune by the Eagles and a 1977 R&B hit by the Emotions.
Pass.
Jefferson Airplane's first big hits were White Rabbit and which other song that was actually written by Grace Slick's then brother-in-law, Darby Slick?
Pass.
Guitarist Mick Ralph's big chord in the chorus is the signature of which 1975 hit for English group Bad Company?
Bad Company. Pass.
Go back to our 2-second song. All right. You did get one. I mean, there's a point on the board, and oldies aren't necessarily Woods' strength. You Can't Hurry Love by the Supremes. That song was Sunshine of Your Love by Cream. The Best of My Love is an Eagles and an Emotions hit from the 70s. Somebody to Love. Don't You Want Somebody to Love is Jefferson Airplane's early hit. And Feel Like Making Love by Bad Company is the last answer there. So you did get the one. Hang on the line. We'll see. Woods had 0 earlier this week, so you could win this one. All right, Woodsy putting on the headphones. Doesn't get the category. Might not make as much of a difference. We'll see. 60 seconds on the
makes
clock.
My boiler look bigger than it actually is. I just saw myself walking in the door. Or is it that big?
Just gotta,
suck it in.
Suck it in a little bit, maybe. All right, 60 seconds.
Maybe a girdle.
60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Steven.
Sunshine of Your Love, Cream.
Correct. The title of which 1966 Supremes classic was Mama's advice about being patient in matters of romance.
You Can't Hurry Love.
Correct. The 70s featured 2 different hits with the same title, a 1974 easy listening tune by the Eagles and a 1977 R&B hit by the Emotions.
Pass.
Jefferson Airplane's first big hits were White Rabbit and which other song that was actually written by Grace Slick's then brother-in-law Darby Slick?
What the hell? I'm blanking on. Next, pass.
Guitarist Mick Ralph's big chord in the chorus is the signature of which 1975 hit for English group Bad Company?
Feel Like Making Love.
Correct. The 70s featured 2 different hits with the same title, a 1974 easy listening tune by the Eagles and a 1977 R&B
Love
hit
Will
by the
Keep Us
Emotions.
Alive?
Nope. Jefferson Airplane's first big hits were White Rabbit and which other song that was actually
is that
written by
song?
Grace Slick's then brother-in-law Darby Slick.
Oh, crap.
You won it though, 3-1.
Ooh. What the hell's the...
It Ends in Love again, oldies edition today.
What's the Eagles?
Best of My
Best
Love.
of My Love.
Totally different song by the Emotions, but they both
I love
were
that
charting in the 70s.
And what's
Best of
the
My
Grace Slick one?
Love. Somebody Love. Don't
you want somebody to love?
And you got the other 3. So you did win today by a 3-1 score over Steve.
All I could think, I knew it was something with love, and all I could think of was, how deep is your love?
I was impressed. Sunshine of Your Love. You had
that
no
is
trouble
one
with
of
that
my
one.
favorite song. One of the dirtiest opening riffs. I think Scorsese's used it in every movie. It is the dirtiest like riff to a song. I love it. I would love to in the off season just do a whole, like not a whole show, but a whole segment about the best riffs of all time. That would be up there.
I love Jefferson Airplane here too. This is a really good one as well.
This is a good one. And then they turned into Starship and sang like 2 or 3 of the worst songs of all time. So
we have Don't Do This coming up next, and Do This, which I want a little positivity here. One of those stories where an NFL rookie makes it big and then gives back to his dad.
Oh, yes.
Love that kind of one. So we'll get to that coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot, you moron.
Dumbass.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't do this
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
Tired of hunting for the latest clips about the Padres? With the Odyssey app, you can get all the latest podcast episodes all in one place, and it's easy too. Just download our app, create an account, search for the teams you care about, follow. Boom, just like that. The latest from your team right on your homepage. Download the Odyssey app today to get started. All right, we get started with Don't Do This, our stories that make you shake your head. And certainly she has been a very hot name in coaching the last few years. Becky Hammon was an assistant with the San Antonio Spurs, the future home of Victor Wembanyama, after they won the draft lottery, and then got her own head coaching job in the WNBA with the Las Vegas Aces, led him to a title. But Becky Hammon running into some problems. She was suspended for 2 games, and the Aces were fined and taken away a first-round draft pick in 2025 after an investigation found that the franchise violated league rules regarding impermissible player benefits and workplace policies. So according to the story here on ESPN, they don't give a lot of details, but basically it all stems from comments Hammon made to one of her players, Derica Hamby, in connection with Hamby's pregnancy. We didn't get specifics about what it is, but sounds like whatever it was, Hammond wasn't exactly supportive of her players' choice to want to have a baby, apparently. And, they have policies about that in the WNBA.
Did she give her the, how could you do this to us? We're just about to go on a run, and you had to go get
Sounds
pregnant?
like it could be something like that. Again, it was kind of an internal investigation, and we didn't get a ton of the details, but the WNBA commissioner says it's critical that we uphold the values of integrity, fairness, creating a level playing field for our teams. The Aces failed to adhere to league rules and regulations, have been disciplined accordingly.
Can you imagine if that happened to the Dodgers, who lost like 14 guys to paternity leave in like a 2-week span? I mean, they had like nobody on their team because everyone was they all made love to their wives at the All-Star break last year, and they're all having kids. Even former Dodgers on other teams or the same week, they were all on paternity
Whatever
leave.
it is, though, kind of a bad look for someone who many people thought might be the first woman to ever be an NBA head coach at some point.
It's not good.
We'll see.
Man, this Blue Jays-Yankees rivalry went up another notch last night. Of course, we told you in Don't Do This about Aaron Judge yesterday and the side-eyeing potentially at the first base coach. He said it was into the dugout. Well, how about this? The very next night, Domingo Germán, Ben, gets ejected from the game in the 4th inning for, guess what? Sticky stuff. Crew chief James Hoy told a pool reporter that Germán's right hand was the stickiest hand I've ever felt. So now Domingo Germán is in with Max Scherzer as the 2 stickiest hands to ever be felt by these big league umpires. So they ran him from the game. He insisted he only used the rosin bag on the mound. He said it was definitely just the rosin bag, sweat, rosin bag. I don't need any extra help to grab a baseball. They did a look at his spin rates. Nothing jumped off the page. They were about the same. But again, if they check you and you've got sticky goop all over your hands, they're going to run you from the game and you're going to wear a suspension. So I guess he apologized to his teammates after, said, I put you guys in a bad spot. We've already got a thin bullpen. But yeah, man, it's then I guess in the game too, the teams were barking at each other about where the first base coaches were standing. So the new theory is this: the pitcher the night before with Judge was tipping his pitches. The first base coach was relaying that to Aaron Judge, which, by the way, totally legal, has been going on in baseball 1,000 years, will go on for another 1,000 years. And the old adage is, bro, if you don't want your signs stolen or don't tip location, et cetera, et cetera.
He wasn't like peeking to see what the catcher was holding down.
No,
or
he
anything
looked.
like
He
that.
just kind of looked. You saw him like kind of look down the thing, and he said he was looking into the dugout. He could have been looking at the first base coach. So last night they're watching the Yankees first base coach, and they start barking at him. Boone comes out and moves their third base coach in the next half inning. So a bunch of grown-up little kids out there just bitching at each other and watching each other like hawks. But it's taken this rivalry to a pretty good one. But of course, you guys know the Blue Jays want to fight every game. Every game they play, they want to fight. That's how they thrive. So Yankees did end up winning that game. Judge did hit another bomb.
So they didn't fully believe Judge's story that we were just being extra classy and not wanting to complain
Correct.
chirp about the umpire's calls.
The pitcher himself said, yeah, they kind of told me I was tipping, and then the first base coach was relaying, maybe what pitch was coming, which again, you gotta hide that. You can't a catcher can't have his legs wide open giving signs.
Yeah, that's not illegal.
That's not illegal at all.
I mean, the Yankees would be dumb if they weren't signaling to Judge. If someone was spotting what the pitch was being tipped, not through a video camera, but if the first base coach can see
his
what's
eyes
coming, he should be signaling to the batter, and Judge should be doing a little flash look. Okay, slider's coming.
Dude, I think about it all the time when I start coaching real little league. I don't want to do that. Does that make me a bad coach that I don't want to? Because
you don't do that in little league.
It's a 10-year-old kid.
Don't do it in little league.
And he's throwing down a fastball. I'm not going to tip my kids off to what's coming, right? No.
If I say, here we go, Bo, it's going to be a fastball.
Right.
If I say, let's go, Bo,
is that
it's
Bush?
a curveball.
That's Bush League,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Well, what happens
in
when
Little League.
what happens when it gets done to me? What's my reaction supposed to be? I know it's going to happen because you see the aggro dads out there.
You have
to fight the other
pitcher
coach.
throw it in the ear of one of the kids.
Drill someone. All right, that makes sense. That I can do.
Right.
All
right. Finally, little do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
Zay Flowers, first-round draft pick of the Baltimore Ravens, 22nd overall selection. I love stories like this. He doesn't even have his contract signed yet, but he was so eager to give back that his agent said he got a little marketing money once he was drafted. First thing he bought was a brand new Mercedes for his dad, who he says is the guy who has instilled the work ethic, the dream to get to the NFL, and the first thing he wanted to do was give back to his dad. So got him a Mercedes with all the bells and whistles, posted the picture, just smiling ear to ear for the former Boston College star. Just very happy that he was able to do that. And now he's still got a contract coming at some point. So who knows what dad might be getting next.
My dad would your dad take it?
Yeah,
he would.
I mean, why not?
I don't know.
I don't know if mine would. He'd do the whole
if he knew I was about to sign
a big deal,
$5 million contract.
Yeah, my dad would take it. And he would deserve it. I owe him a Mercedes or two.
Oh, yeah. I owe
or two.
Or three.
Yeah, I owe my dad hugely.
Yeah.
And I'll never be able to give back like that, I don't think. But
well, you have a contract negotiation coming
up.
You never know.
I do. And I'm hoping to make in 1 year what that Mercedes cost, I think.
100%. Oh, no. I just got it in the chat. This happens in Little League, Woodsy. We're in our last season. Some parents are unbelievable. This is going to suck, man. Paulie, you guys, this is going to suck for me. Great content as I'm led away in handcuffs for beating up a dad that stole Bo's signs while he's trying to just throw the ball over the plate. When this is a good discussion. When does that become okay? High school?
High school.
We agree, right? High school, then okay, you're kind of men now.
Everything up until then is
learning.
Just some level of Little League. You could say it's a travel team or a club team.
Oh, you know
or a
they do it in
select
travel
team.
ball, dude.
Like I'm talking like middle school, but it's still I think high school.
What about like
freshman baseball, even at the lowest in high school?
Okay,
like
so
that is your job is to win. Coaches are paid
to win. Okay.
There's no minimum appearance rules. Like you have to play 2 innings and get an at bat. None of that. That's Little League stuff. I think high school is a fair.
I agree.
Measurement
I'd say
point.
once you're on a team where players can get cut,
then
it becomes more competitive. If you're on a team in which, hey,
everybody
we take
plays.
everybody and everybody plays, then you don't do that sort of gamesmanship and competitive stuff. But once kids are getting cut,
Little League, you pay to play.
Now, Steve says, what if the players are picking it up at a young level? It's a good point.
What I mean, if he's seeing the,
I think if they're like 8
if
years
the
old, you have
batter
to be
looks
a
at the
coach.
pitcher and can determine for himself what's coming, that's just good batting.
No. What if Bo's buddy Jackson's on first base, looks in, sees that they're throwing a fastball, and tips Bo off that he's throwing a fastball when they're 11 years old, which happens.
Yeah.
Do I shut that down? As a coach?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
That's a tough one.
That one's tough.
There's a little pride, but you're like, hey, you shouldn't do that.
You see them with their arm around each other in the infield in between innings, and they're talking, and hey, 3 claps means fastball. I mean,
dude, I know.
Who
It's
among
so
us didn't
good.
do it?
It's so good.
But I think as a coach, you can't
Isn't
sanction
it? It's very much like me to worry about something 5 years down the road that has not even happened yet, but that I know is coming. I know it's coming.
And that's don't and do this for a Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's worry about something that has happened in the last year and could be happening again in the next week or so, involving Manny Machado. Get an update on his injury, what Bob Melvin had to say yesterday about the third baseman. Do that next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I mentioned it earlier, but Paul said, remind everybody who's just tuning in for Adam Jones's weekly, usually 7:35 on Wednesdays, that he asked if he could go an hour later. So we will talk to Adam Jones, the 5-time All-Star, coming up at 8:35 this morning on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Did have looks like the official word about the MLS coming to San Diego. Announcement scheduled for tomorrow morning at Snapdragon Stadium. Big announcement. They didn't say what it was, but
the official email said a major soccer announcement.
Yes.
As I'm reading the tea leaves here, I think I know what this is about.
I also saw that,
so the announcement's tomorrow, but the big
I don't know if there's anything on Saturday or not. That was tweeted yesterday. The only thing that's been officially announced is Thursday's news conference featuring the Egyptian billionaire and the Sycuan tribal leader, who are going to be the ownership of what is reportedly the new expansion MLS franchise coming to San Diego.
Now, that's a private press conference on tomorrow morning. The reported Saturday thing would be a public celebration.
Fans, I think, but they have not announced any details about that as of yet.
Adam asked me if I wanted to go Saturday if they have something, and I said to him, I'm going to see The Cure on Saturday, and he looked at me. He said, "Am I losing you?" And I said, "No, you're not losing," because I got off Twitter. And
why would you,
as opposed to when you were on Twitter,
to an MLS celebration anyway?
I've never been. I've been to. I think in my time as a sports radio host, I think I've been to one. And who was it? We were all together.
We went to Jace Tingler.
It was Tingler. That's it. That's the one I pick out of all of the press conferences to go to. I go to Tingler's. I was managing games in my head.
Well, if that was that. So he wonders if the guy who's not known for his soccer and not known for going to press conferences
will go
if he wants to go to the big soccer thing.
Yeah.
That it does make a lot
and
of
then
sense.
When I say I can't, I've got plans. I'm going to go see The Cure. I'm so excited. I've been dying to see this band for it's been years since I've seen them. Am I losing you? No, I'm right here. You get the best. This is the best version of me you've ever had, is what I told him. I am. If
there is anything on Saturday, Ben will be there.
Yeah, you'll be there.
I might be there.
He gets very. Here's the other thing. Let's pull the curtain back. Can we?
About what?
He gets very mad when Ben has other things to do for your other job.
That's
you
true.
Do
yes,
have full.
I do.
Did you get to the bottom of what it is you're doing?
Yes,
Saturday?
I'm going to be participating in the March for Babies at Balboa Park.
All right. So I have
the March for Babies.
I have many questions. What is it would be more interesting if it was the March of Babies.
It's not the March
babies
of
march.
Babies can't march. Maybe
if you hold
their stroller.
No, if you hold their little hands
and make them march. That's fun when you do that. Usually you do that on a carpet, like in your living room.
True.
And
not across a bridge.
Across a bridge.
All right. So you're marching for babies.
It's an annual. I've done it before, actually. It's an annual fun run walk fundraiser for the March of Dimes.
Okay.
Which is
what is the March of Dimes?
So originally, I had to look this up. Originally, the March of Dimes was formed as a organization to raise money to battle polio. Now we have eradicated polio.
We got to do something else.
So they transferred their focus many years ago
to babies,
and it's to benefit healthy pregnancies, battle birth defects, things like that.
Very
that's
worthy
That's
cause.
What the cause is. They have the March for Babies every year in Balboa Park. It's been a few years since they've been able to do it. Back since the pandemic, Kimberly Hunt will be the MC for everybody on the stage. They'll, it's like any one of these other things. We'll have booths and people giving away trinkets and probably spinning prize wheels. And then you go on a walk over that nice where they close down the roads and everyone walks across the bridge into Balboa Park and does a big loop and comes back. And it's probably just like 2 or 3K. It's not anything strenuous at all. And they wanted as many of our Channel 10 folks as possible to come out. So I'm going to try to get up and head down there on Saturday morning.
Adam says, if I asked you to do a March for Babies, you would say no. And I looked at Adam, I go, you're right. I think you're right. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's accurate. He's not as good at guilt tripping. You'd think he is, but I'm usually able to resist his sometimes guilt trips. I say no a lot. He'd be surprised at how often I say no at the other job as well. I don't have the time to do a lot outside of 2 full-time jobs.
Correct.
So I have to pick and
Father,
choose.
yeah, you got all kinds
but
of
they,
stuff.
I was asked once and I said, no, I don't think I can make it. I was asked a second time. I really don't think I can make it. And then finally the third time when they said, can you please just do this one? I said, all right, I don't have anything going. I will try to make it out on Saturday morning. It is a good cause. And, if there's going to be a lot of other people out there, I will do my best to make it out.
Okay. Have fun at the March of Babies.
But
March
back
for
to the
Babies.
soccer story quickly before I want to talk about Manny Machado. I saw a lot of obviously unhappy San Diego Loyal fans again yesterday. And it's such an odd situation because you think about any city about to get an expansion team in a major sport, top level sport in this country. If we're the Seattle Kraken, were there a bunch of people going, oh, I'm so bummed that the NHL is coming to Seattle? Were there a lot of people in Las Vegas unhappy when the Golden Knights moved in or the Raiders moved to town? Not really. You really want to have 100% support on day one when you have a new team coming to a city. And right now, whatever the new MLS team is, they already have work to do. They're already like
They're going to do damage control.
PR damage control mode before day one has even arrived.
You guys,
that's a tough spot to be in.
It is, and I don't know that it's that uncommon. I mean, you've never lived in another market. Paulie has, I have. I don't know that it's that uncommon. If this scenario presented itself in another city like ours, which again,
I guess LA didn't really want the Chargers.
Yeah. I mean, and they didn't do it. They really didn't do it the right way at all. Not smart. And by putting a better product on the field, it's helped a little bit, but there is a thing in soccer, and from talking to all my friends that are really devastated by this, really. And I am sympathetic to them. I am an empathetic, sympathetic person. I understand. And I don't look at it as like, if they decided to also support, I'm not going to look at them like, oh, you're a scab, man. You're crossing the picket lines here. I think again, I'll reiterate the point of, I'm not the world's biggest soccer fan, but if a major league sport comes to this city, great. If that can help then get other major league sports to the city, fantastic. My ultimate dream, I've put the NFL out of my dreams. I think maybe when Bo's my age, maybe you'll have a shot. But the NHL, the NBA would be spectacular here.
I'm willing to give the MLS a full shot, and I think it's a good thing for San Diego. I will say there is a difference though, and I finally put my finger on it. The NFL is undoubtedly the best professional football league in the world.
Not close.
NBA is definitely the best professional basketball league in the world. Major League Baseball, definitely the best professional baseball league in the world, and the NHL is definitely the best professional hockey league in the world.
And the
MLS is not.
It's not
the best professional soccer league in the world. It's not even close.
No.
I mean, yesterday they had the North American rankings came out, and the MLS was the number 2 league behind Liga MX in North America. It's not even the best professional soccer league in North America, not to mention the Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga, all the other leagues that are ahead of the MLS in Europe. So you say it's the top league, and it is the top league in the United States.
It's what you can get.
But we're not getting the absolute best play and the best players in the world. And
Correct.
that is something as spoiled Americans, we are used to seeing the best in the world in our professional sports.
Imagine if Major League Baseball, a competitor, opened up in Europe, and guys were coming up, and guys were like, I'd like to play in France. I mean, we'd lose our minds. Like, we're losing, talent here, there. We'd lose.
It happens in Japan. You get major league caliber guys. Some of them go to Japan and play there.
But
not the superstars.
Rarely. I don't know that it's ever happened where they've said, I've got a killer. I got 2 equal offers from the Reds and the Nippon Ham Fighters. I'm going to Japan. It may have. And we'll talk to Adam Jones at 8:35. I also don't want to paint it as this is my last, my last resort, if you will. But Brian O'Grady, whose birthday it is today, our beloved Brian O'Grady, happy birthday to our favorite Irishman, was texted him happy birthday this morning. That job in Korea that he got, he would rather be here playing in El Paso. Honestly, he'd rather be playing in El Paso than playing in Korea. He'd be closer to his family. He's more comfortable here, but the money was too good to turn down. And as a guy that probably wasn't going to crack big league rosters, you got to do what you got to do. Now with soccer, it's much, much different. It's much different, but the MLS is the idea of the MLS is a good one. It's a good one for San Diego, I think. I still am very sympathetic to my friends.
We've taken calls, and I feel bad, but I'm still a little confused at where the riff is.
It's the way that I've heard it.
I say this sensitively, like if the Loyal and they've said like we're not going anywhere.
Well,
is the fear that the MLS is going to pull away?
Yeah,
because if you're a diehard Loyal supporter, you're still going to be able to go and support them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not going. They're not leaving, right?
They say they're not leaving. It's going to be harder. You're
going to be in the shadow of the MLS.
In the shadow.
No one was mad when the Wave came with the Loyal. I don't remember a single Loyal fan going, I can't believe the Wave are coming here.
It's women's soccer.
It's still soccer, though.
It is.
It's still a sport that you have a limited amount of time to go to
watch
games and watch games.
Is the NWSL viewed in a higher?
The NWSL is definitely the top women's soccer league in the world.
Compared to the USL,
compared to anything else, it's the top. I mean,
JR makes the point in the chat. It's just harder to get new fans. It's harder to get new fans, and they've been grinding.
And I'm not trying to be. I'm literally. I'm asking you questions.
I'm trying to put it to something that we would understand it. Like I don't know.
It's not like if you're a Gulls fan and you got an NHL team, because the Gulls are a minor league feeder team.
Yeah, I mean, look at the situation in that is probably going to happen in Las Vegas. The A's are going to move. There's already a AAA team there. Will that AAA team survive in Las Vegas, or will the A's, basically crowd out the AAA team and go, "Hey, there's only room for one big dog in this town. We're sorry." I don't know whether that's the case.
Whose minor league team is that again in Vegas?
I don't know who's the.
Is it not the A's?
I thought it was the
Is
A's.
it their minor league team?
That might be better.
That could actually work out. If it was like the Rockies, though, I think you're probably gonna have to think about moving.
Yeah, it's the A's AAA team. That JR says that, Paul, that's the problem. There's no feeder system for the MLS, no connection. So they're coming in and giving the Heisman to the Loyal and all the hard work that they've done. If the Loyal want to continue, yeah, I mean it's gonna be a bit of a more of an uphill climb.
I know nothing about soccer. I really don't. But I can only compare it like when I was in high school in Seattle, the Sounders became an MLS team, but we had a lower level soccer team in town called the Sounders. So you just felt like you were upgrading that team rather than losing a team. You kind of just felt like, oh, we're getting an upgrade. We're getting bumped up to the MLS.
It would, I think it'd be one thing if they came in and said, hey, you guys have done phenomenal work. We'll take it from here. Everybody's in. Come on in. Everyone's going to have a chance. Supporter groups. If you did it the right way, maybe there would be less of a backlash, but it's what it's doing. It's causing a line in the sand. And I understand the line in the sand. I know the easy way to do it is to say, well, it's Major League Soccer. It's going to be better. But that doesn't negate 5 years of hard work.
I get that. Hey, you've got a new team. You're paying $500 million. You want it to be your team. I want to be able to pick the name. I want to be able to pick my coaching staff. I don't necessarily want to have to say, all right, I'm paying $500 million now. I've got to be the Loyal. And I got to hire Landon Donovan and all these guys. And because I need to win over San Diego, that's probably a tough pill to swallow for an Egyptian billionaire who, I don't know if he's ever even been to San Diego before this week.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I will see. All right, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Hint Water. Hint Water. Hint infuses pure water with fruit essences to create surprisingly accurate fruit flavors without any sugar, diet sweeteners, or calories. Available in stores or hintwater.com. Let's check traffic quickly, and then I want to tease what I want to talk about with Manny Machado. We're right near the top of the hour.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Insperity. Well, some major headaches for you on the coastline, southbound side of the 5 for Cannon. There is a crash blocking the 3 left lanes. Your best bet might be to cut off long before that and maybe take the Coast Highway to get around that, hop back on at Palomar Airport Road. But yeah, give yourself extra time if that is your route. Also, collision on the Fairmont Mesa Boulevard on-ramp to southbound 163, providing scalable HR services, access to better benefits, payroll, and HR technology for over 35 years. Insperity's mission is to help businesses succeed so communities prosper. Insperity HR that makes a difference. Visit insperity.com. And Kelly Downick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Woods, we know that Manny Machado has sacrificed his body for the San Diego Padres.
Yes.
Over and over again. And he leads by being tough and being an example. Is it possible that Manny Machado has to sacrifice something else, though, for the good of the Padres?
A goat?
No. We'll talk about it when we come back. We'll hear from Bob Melvin, his update.
Rooster?
No, not an animal. Don't worry. We're not
virgin.
Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Halfway home on a hump day. Ben and Woods, 97.3. The Fan. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, executive producer. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. You had a point you wanted to make about Manny Machado and his sacrifices.
I do. And
then I'd like to open the phones for something that we call spiritual mouthwash. It's time to cleanse the palate.
You're not going to this too early, are you?
No,
Okay.
I mean, the vibes are off. Very disappointing loss last night. And what spiritual mouthwash is, it's just something good that's happening in your life. And we can open the phones for that. We'll try to change the vibes around here, around these airwaves, this city, something that you're happy about, thankful for, whatever, something good happening in your life. Right?
It's a little bit of a break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah. And
we can't do it after every loss, or
Of
we can't do
course.
it every day. But
the way this
we
season
need
is
to switch
the
vibes.
way this season has started is, I mean, we're one step away from a voodoo priestess in here. I mean, we're that close, like drinking goat's blood and things like that, because it has just been such a disappointing start to the season. And I know fans feel the same way. So dial us up now, 833-288-0973, and give us something that's going good in your life, something you're really happy about. Maybe you got a promotion, maybe you're having a baby, maybe you had a baby, maybe your kid is graduating college, whatever it may be. Give us something good here on Ben and Woods.
Perfect. All right. First, though, let's play a little bit of the audio from before yesterday's game. Bob Melvin talking to our friend Annie Heilbrunn, getting an update on Manny Machado's status. Of course, he didn't play yesterday because of the hit by pitch in the hand that he took on Monday night. So here was the back and forth between Annie and Bob Melvin.
Let's start with Manny. How is Manny doing? He's not in the lineup. What's the status?
We're being pretty precautionary here. So, the fact that he had to come out of a game with how he usually is would, for me, kind of signal good time to give him a day off. We'll see where we are tomorrow. We have an off day the next day, but it doesn't look to be anything serious.
So is he kind of just getting treatment, that sort of
Correct.
thing? And okay, but not serious. You think maybe a few days, or
I really don't know. It depends on how he responds to treatment today.
is it just pain? Like pain? And was it a nerve thing, like you said, or
No, I think it was more hit the ligament. It hit on the ligament and just kind of, it's not a comfortable feeling.
Azokar? Where's he at? How's he doing?
He's starting his rehab here any day now, or actually maybe a couple days. He's taking some bats in Arizona. I don't know when he ends up going to El Paso. I was ready for this yesterday, not today.
I got another. Oh, I have an easy one. It's just
Okay.
Darvish okay for as far as his tightness and everything. He'll be good to go tomorrow.
He's all good. Non-issue for him.
All right. Let's be clear. The Padres
Not gonna
are
lie, I totally forgot about Azokar.
Yeah, I did too. The Padres are not the only team that does this, but I don't know in the history of Padres baseball have they ever said guy is going to be back in 4 days, and he was actually back in 2. It always goes the other way. He's going to be
Feels
back.
like it,
He'll
yeah.
be back in 3 days. Well, it ended up being 7. He'll be back in a week. Well, it was 2. Well, he'll be back in 2 weeks. It was a month. It always seems to be a little bit longer than they say.
David Dahl was put on the 10-day IL like 6 weeks ago. I've not seen hide or hair of David Dahl.
He is in rehab. He's at AAA right now.
They disappear into the ether a little bit.
Sometimes it happens, and then partly some players you like Jose Azokar you just aren't thinking about,
Right.
so they kind of disappear. But when it's a guy like Manny Machado, you don't disappear. It's you every single day. You want an update on how he's doing, and hopefully Manny is back and he's feeling good and he's back in the lineup today, Friday at the latest. However, if there is the possibility that this could linger for a week or so, we saw it last year, and I don't have a problem. I think Manny, even at 50%, is a guy that does good things for the Padres in the lineup. But if he's going to actually, like he did last year, sit out 9 games and then come back, the Padres probably could use a roster spot to get someone else in there. So
yeah, where else are you going to get
it's-
ABs for Brandon
I know
Dixon?
Manny, it's almost a point of pride. He doesn't go on the injured list, but if it looks like, he needs some time, at some point he's going to have to swallow that pride and sacrifice the ego, not his body, but his ego at some point, and maybe accept a few days off to get healthy and get back to being Manny Machado.
The ankle injury was beyond gnarly. This one looks like you should be fine
for sure.
If he's not in there today, and we haven't seen the lineup yet, if he's not in there today, I fully expect him to be in there Friday.
Different situations, but last year, no one can deny Manny Machado should have gone on the injured list right away. Now, if they wanted to bring him back
so nasty
in 10 days and playing on that incredibly painful injured ankle, great, more power to him. But there was no reason for him to sit for 9 days as a unusable roster spot in the hopes that he might get back in 6 days instead of 10.
We needed him, and he thought maybe if there was any chance that he could come back in less than 10 days, he didn't want to go on the IL.
Yeah.
And look, if Manny takes an IL stint, or even if Manny gets back earlier than he did last year, I don't think it makes a difference. We still made it to the NLCS.
Right.
Like, we needed him as much as possible last year. I don't, the way he's playing right now, I
get it.
We can afford it.
I love Manny as much as you guys do now, but at some point, I think Manny could do a lot of good by saying, I have confidence in all of you guys. You can win without me for a week, and go out and do it. And I'm going to get right. I'm going to get healthy.
But it'd be one thing if he was going well, but he's not. And when you're a guy like him, when you're a guy like him,
we didn't have Soto and Bogarts last year.
But the last thing you want to do if you're him is go, yeah, we're scuffling, we're dying, we're below 500. I'm going to be out. I know we don't know how it's going to play out. So he could go on the IL. I have no idea.
He could be batting third today.
I could understand why he would say, I'm not coming out.
And
you need me.
And maybe this is nothing, and it's a completely different situation. RJJ says in the chat, last year Machado was mashing, carrying this team, so he played through it, and that's why we made it to the NLCS. Well, Manny had his by far worst month of the year in, was it June, when he was hurt and he was out there? Probably cost him the MVP award to be out there. I will respect that to no end. He didn't exactly carry the Padres when he was out there, though. He was hitting like 200 that month while he was injured. Now, I'm not saying they had anyone better, and his defense and his leadership is valuable to be out there. But at some point, you do have to trust that teammates can get it done.
I don't think that that's what it is. I don't think that he doesn't trust it. I think that when you are a gamer and you want to play, you want to play. It's hard to keep him off the field.
Of course.
We can't praise him for posting every day and then be like, yeah, you really should clear your head for 10 days.
We can't be the only ones who have wondered whether this slow start, because Manny won't ever say it, whether there's something else as well before the hand.
Yeah, you saw him tweak his back. We all saw it.
Yeah, he talked about it a little bit and then kind of been silent about it. It's possible. Guys do sometimes need to get off their feet for a week or so and get healthy. And Manny is so reluctant to do that.
Well, Matthew makes a good point. If I was Manny, I would absolutely not trust my teammates to get it done, because they're not. Nobody's getting it done. Where has that trust been earned?
Well, neither has Manny. Manny hasn't been getting it done at all.
But he's earned it. He's earned. That's my whole beef with everyone, crapping on Manny and his slow start is like, he's proven that he wants to be on the field, trying his very best, even at 50%, as you said, to help his team win. Can everybody else say that on that roster?
I don't know.
No, they can't. They can't. No.
Juan Soto has been grinding to stay in there. And
he's been grinding
his way out of it.
And Manny wants to grind and work his way out of his slump too. And I think he can. That said, I don't know how you are a better baseball team with Manny Machado on the IL. That's kind of how I feel. Like, how are we a better team with Manny Machado not playing for 10 days, even though he's scuffling and everything else?
But
he's that guy that
superstar players go on the IL.
Sure.
And then they come back and, healthy and play great. I mean, this is not a crazy concept that sometimes guys will need a week or two off. It doesn't make him a lesser human being, not a superstar, not a leader anymore.
RJJ says
maybe accept an injured list stint.
His worst month while he was hurt last year was still better than most of the players on the Padres right now. It's true. It's true. And the defense really never slumps. It never really slumps. And Hassan Kim can pick it at third. I'm absolutely comfortable with him playing third base for this team if Manny does in fact need to go on the IL.
I'd love to hear from Adam Jones about this.
Yeah, no doubt.
Obviously, there's a difference between being banged up and being hurt. Like, hurt, can't go, got to go on the IL. But when you're banged up, And it's kind of right in that gray area where you could use an IL stint or you could try to grind through it. Like, how do you balance that as the player?
No doubt.
No player.
How do you
Nobody
decide?
wants to come out.
No, how do you decide?
But last year Manny was injured. He wasn't
nasty.
just hurt.
Yeah,
he wasn't just feeling some aches and pains.
Yeah,
he was
a bruise on his hand, right?
Injured. He played
I'm saying
through
now it feels
a severe injury.
Maybe it might be different now compared to last year. The hand injury could be more of he's banged up, it's sore, but he wants to try to give it a go. Whereas last year, he damn near shattered his ankle.
I mean, he may be in the lineup today.
I wouldn't be surprised
after a loss last night, and
he may get 3 hits.
Yeah,
and again, I don't know the severity. I don't know what's being said.
I'm also totally fine with him not being.
I do know that no matter
3 full days off.
I do know Manny, and that no matter how severe it is, he could have 4 bones broken and a torn ligament in his hand, and he's probably going to lie and want to be out there if he can. And I'm just saying that might not always be the best thing for a team. Sometimes the best thing for a team is get yourself completely right and then go out there and dominate.
Yeah, I will kind of stand on the fact that we're a better team with him in it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. But are we a better team with 2 months of Manny at 70%, or 2 weeks without Manny and then 6 weeks of Manny at 100%?
I mean, I would love to see him at 100%. I would love to see him firing.
Can you ever get to 100% though if you're constantly going out there at 60 to 80?
I mean, this is an 81 mile an hour curveball that hit off his hand. This is not
again.
what last
I don't
year
know.
was.
It may be nothing. It may be nothing. But in general, when you have a superstar player, would you like to see him out there posting every day, even if he's 75% for the entire season? Or would you rather see a guy take 3 weeks off if he had to, and then be a 90 to 100% for the rest of the season? You'll get more out of the guy if he actually does sometimes
I would rather
sit himself
have,
down for a while.
I would rather have you in here at 70. It's not just about the player, it's about the team. And I think I, as a player, would appreciate the F out of my guy stepping up, coming out, knowing he's hurt. It gives me a little bit extra. I'd rather have you at 70% than sitting at home getting to 100%. And I think the same you would say for me. You'd rather have me at 70% than, at home in bed drinking chicken soup. I mean, it's different.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of
sport.
Percentages. I mean, Manny at 50%, Manny at 30%.
Yeah, I don't think this injury in particular is one that
fair enough.
I would
Probably
look at
not.
and say, oh yeah, he needs to take a breather here. I just don't.
There's a reason the managers give guys days off. There's a reason though. You're trying to get as much as you can out of players, and it rarely means by playing them 162 games a season.
That is not spiritual mouthwash.
No, we'll get to that coming up next.
What's call in? That's like
I can't see our
with,
phone line.
That was like gargling with vomit, is what that
833-288-0973. Clear our heads.
Mouthwash.
Something positive in your life. Doesn't have to be Padres sports related. In fact, please make it not.
Yeah, don't call and be like, Drew Carlton was really good last night.
He hit a home run in Little League or something. Call in, but that's about it.
That's about it.
Get to that coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
I feel better already. I love music like that. Healing spa music. Do some breath work at home with music like this. Just
I can feel my chakras in alignment right now.
You're poking fun, but it really works. You could use some. It's National Hypertension Day. Are you hypertense?
No, that's why I take a pill every night, so I'm not hypertense.
Spiritual mouthwash. I think the great Padres organist, Bobby Cressy, is the one that came up with the name for this. And we did it last year, and we haven't done it since. And man, I'm telling you, this year we've needed a rinse. We needed a rinse, and I'd forgotten about it until someone in the chat said, "What about some spiritual mouthwash?" I said, "Sounds good to me."
We do have some callers on the line.
It's
We want to
fantastic.
share
That's
some
what we want.
positivity.
I love throwing some positivity
out
into
there
the
on a
universe.
Wednesday.
Bring it.
Now, my phone lines are working. Paul just told me all the callers, and I've forgotten them. So
All
let's go
right.
to Michael.
We will start with Michael.
I was got one right. All right, there we go.
Hi, Michael.
Hi. Morning, guys.
Morning, buddy.
So about 2 months ago, I got engaged.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Wanted to share that with everybody. And then this last weekend, I went with my family to Arizona Diamondbacks San Francisco Giants game to celebrate my parents' 40th anniversary and cousin's 40th birthday. We rented out the pool area. We got to see everybody, hear congratulations,
sick.
and
It's awesome.
just talk to everybody.
Did you swim in that pool?
Oh, yeah. No, it was nice.
Man, I always wanted
Nice.
to do that.
Did you disinfect afterwards?
I did not. I had a little bit too much fun, so I was walked back to the hotel room by my fiance.
By the belt loop. Come here, Matthew. Come here.
Oh, yeah.
This
On a
way.
leash.
This way. Well, congratulations on your engagement. You'll find wedded bliss, I'm sure. And congratulations on the big engagement party. It's fun, man. It's fun when you get the engagement stuff is a blast. And my wife and I, we're going to renew our vows in Vegas in October. We're going to do the whole
Do a
Elvis
quickie renewal?
Yeah, a little quickie renewal at the Elvis Chapel, something we've always wanted to do. We've never been to Vegas together, so that's something I'm excited about, spiritual mouthwash-wise. Going to see you two play at the Sphere and do it up big for a weekend. Mom and Dad out of town, so suck it, kids.
It's always fun when you can stop introducing your girlfriend or boyfriend and start introducing your fiance.
Yeah, it's my fiance.
Significant. Let's go to
Let's go to James.
James.
Oh, is it Mike? I'm sorry, I said Matthew.
It was Michael.
Congrats, Michael. My apologies.
Good morning, guys.
Morning,
Good
buddy.
morning.
Hey, good morning. I got a little spiritual mouthwash for you,
I love
and it's
it.
gonna probably throw you for a loop. I work a lot. I deal blackjack. I do stand-up comedy. I do security.
Wow.
One thing, I got a day off, and it was the day you guys were up at the Ale House, and I got to come up there, see you, get a couple of pictures, a couple of handshakes, and that right there uplifted me because I thought I was just working myself to the bone. That let me know, hey, man, there's still a good world out there. You can go see the guys you listen to all the time.
Oh, that's rad, man. Thank you.
Appreciate the
Thank
call.
you
I didn't
very
think
much.
I'd be the subject of the spiritual mouthwash.
Nor did I.
That's very exciting.
Notice none of our wives are calling in to praise us right now. Number one station in town, and that's good.
And
spiritual mouthwash.
I respect the hustle as well.
Oh yeah, big
Multiple
time.
jobs.
Yes, absolutely.
We all have multiple
We
jobs.
do. We do.
We got time for a few more
Yeah.
before we got to go to break. How about Chris?
Hi.
Hi,
Morning, Chris.
Morning, buddy.
Hey, good morning. My daughter won an academic competition for the Santee School District Student of the Year.
Wow.
And then it's awesome. And then they declared it today Ryan Noble's Day for the city of Santee.
Come on,
That's
man.
incredible.
That's fantastic. That's something I probably never have to worry about with my kids. I hope
Yeah.
I hope they do. I hope they will do it well
You said
academically.
her name is Ryan?
Ryan. Yep. And she showed
Ryan
up
Noble
to
Day.
accept the award in a City Connect jersey.
Yes,
And they
that's
hooked
so
her up
cool.
with some Padre tickets.
That is
the parents out there
incredible.
know this. For those who don't have their own kids yet, like Polly, there is something so satisfying about seeing your children accomplish something, win an award,
nothing better.
be honored in some way.
Nothing better.
That it really is even better than like getting your own praise or reward.
So much better. So much better when it's your kids, man. It's so much better. That's spiritual mouthwash in a nutshell.
Perfect.
Right there. That's fantastic. Congratulations, Ryan. Keep up the great work. Gonna do big things.
Let's go to Andy. You're up next for some spiritual mouthwash.
Welcome, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, man.
Hey, so I woke up with a bad taste in my mouth,
Yes.
and I need some mouthwash to remove it. We had a tough loss last night. I put my kid into pitch. He's a veteran, 9-year-old on the team, and I threw in some signs to the catcher to throw a slider. He threw a changeup, and the kid mashed it and cleared the bases. So I just need to get that off my chest.
Flush it.
Called the wrong pitch.
You flush it and you move on, and you say to your kid, listen, it happens to the best of them.
For those who don't feel like that was the positivity we're looking for, congratulations to that other kid, though, who cleared the bases.
Cleared the bases. He's
and
probably
maybe had
feeling great.
A moment of a lifetime that your son helped provide, because it feels really good to clear the bases when you're 9 years old.
It does not feel good to give up, to hang one and somebody clear the bases on you.
Did you ever cry when you were in Little League, like on the field?
It's weird.
I found myself on the mound in tears once or twice.
I didn't start playing till I was 10. So I never had anybody to play with until I was 10 years old. And my story. It was the Cobras was the name of my team. We had Pittsburgh Pirate round hats. My first team with a snake on it. I did not
like the railroad conductor style Pittsburgh Pirates hat. Yeah, I love those.
And it was my first team, and I did not foul a ball off. I did not touch a ball. I booted everything that was hit my way, and I loved it still. I wanted to go back and work harder at it. And I didn't cry though. I was never discouraged. The game has discouraged me, but not enough to cry. I don't think. I'll cry at other stuff though, all the time. But will you melt down on the mound?
Once or twice on the mound. When you feel like you're letting down your whole team,
it
like
sucks,
you're giving
man.
up walks
You
and
can't
hits,
throw
and you
a-
can't
You're
can't
frustrated.
get anybody out.
It's
You're
more of a
frustrated.
mad. It's more of a mad cry.
And everyone's behind you, like, just throw strikes, Ben. Just
Come on,
come
Ben.
on. It's like
Idiot.
That's tough for a kid.
Yeah, it's very tough.
Hitting, striking out. I didn't care that much, but
That's
on the
pretty
mound,
much all I ever did.
When you're struggling on the mound, that was tough.
That was very tough.
Got one more, Paulie?
Yeah, let's go to Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Eric in Chula Vista.
Welcome
Good morning,
to
guys. How you
Spiritual
doing?
Mouthwash.
Good, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And so 99.99% of the time I'm working Wednesdays. And, they came and said, hey, we're a little over hours. Do you want to cut a day? So I said, sure, I'll help the team out. And I got today off. So I got a full schedule. I'm going to play pitch and putt with a guy I haven't played golf with in a little while. The granddaughter's coming over today. So, I'm not even thinking about Padre baseball. It's going to be a stellar day, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Spend
An
a little time.
unexpected day off
Yeah.
is always appreciated.
Clutch. You'd know.
Oh, no, I expect it.
It's true.
They're not unexpected.
I'm going to the game with my kids today. I'm very excited about that. They're thrilled. They get to jump out of school early, and we'll take them down and watch you, Darvish, hopefully twirl a gem.
If he does, you'll feel really good.
Oh, apparently we also have a love connection in our chat that's been made between two
spiritual mouthwash in the
people.
chat.
Yeah, Caitlin and Matthew. All right.
Nice.
We'll wish you guys the best of luck. Paulie met his wife basically through Twitter, and I was the conduit to that. But yeah, you can find love online.
By the way, thank you to our newest member, Andrew Mazin. Mazin, I think it's pronounced. I'm not sure. We'll look at that, but I just saw a new member in the chat as well. So.
You guys are awesome. Thanks
Spiritual
for
mouthwash. All
jumping
right.
in.
Clear the air, everybody.
I feel better, man.
I do too.
I do feel better.
I do.
I love
Maybe
hearing
it's
those
that-
stories.
Maybe it's that music, that healing music that Paulie plays during Spiritual Mouthwash.
Well, now we got Adam Jones to come on to tell us how it really
Yeah,
is.
he's excited. He just said his 15 minutes of fame are coming up next.
I love it.
With Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, everyone feeling just a little bit better
I
after
do.
some spiritual mouthwash.
Much better. Win the series today, and I'll be feeling even way better.
That will definitely make a difference.
Lay the matchups on me quickly.
Yu
today.
Darvish.
Is it still TBD?
Yeah, sounds like it's either a bullpen day or they're going to call up someone from AAA to make the start for the Royals today.
You got to put the wood to these guys, man. Put the wood to somebody at this point. Let's just see some wood.
Yu Darvish was cruising in his last start before Bob Melvin pulled him after 80 pitches with a bit of tightness, but said he's healthy to go. Hopefully can give you 7 or maybe 8 innings. Who knows? Even a rare complete game in Major League Baseball wouldn't be the worst thing after they only got 2 innings out of Seth Lugo last night.
Royals are some free swingers, man. They're going to make, good hard 90s all day. They're going to boot the ball around a little bit. We saw it last night. Take advantage.
Plus an off day tomorrow.
An off day tomorrow. Empty the bullpen. Get after it.
Go for it. We'll talk with Adam Jones, our 5-time All-Star, joins us right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Speed's still very slow along the coastline, southbound 5, all thanks to this crash. Past Cannon, everything has been moved over the right shoulder, but you're still solid all the way from 78. Collision on westbound 52 just past Queen Markets over the right shoulder, and still in this accident northbound 805 past Imperial. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department is working hard to keep San Diego safe and is now hiring. The Sheriff's Department offers rewarding careers with growth and has an opportunity for anyone with integrity that wants to make a difference. Go to joinsdsheriff.net to learn more. That's joinsdsheriff.net. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, as we go out to our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline, I think the first thing I should do is congratulate Adam Jones. Adam, I don't know if you heard the good news, but we just found out yesterday that 97.3 The Fan is the #1 radio station in San Diego for men 25 to 54, our target demographic, and you're part of the family now as a weekly contributor, so you're part of that success. So thank you and congratulations to you, Adam.
You've earned that paycheck or lack thereof.
I appreciate that. Booze, but no, that's amazing. No, it's a tribute to you guys and everybody that works. It's a group of guys and gals, and hey, it's a team effort. It shows that everybody loves showing up to work, and we're having a good time.
It's harder to show up to work sometimes, and you know this. It probably for you guys when you were a player, Adam, and if you're in the middle of a long losing streak or things just aren't going your way, I mean, you still get to play Major League Baseball every day. You get paid to do it. We feel the same way about radio. It is getting harder and harder to come in and try to break down what exactly is going on offensively for the Padres. And, you can understand maybe a few weeks of scuffling. That happens, but we're not quite to epidemic, not quite to an epidemic, but I feel like we're close. Like it's a noticeable thing going on with the offense right now.
Yeah, see, I mean, when you're struggling, when I was going through it, a team was going through it, I would try to find longer routes or a different route to get to the ballpark to break whatever curse is going on around us. I mean, the cliche is always true, the adage. But again, it's a good division this year. I think that the Diamondbacks are a lot better ball club than people gave credit to. Obviously the Dodgers are always going to be there, and there's a lot of pressure that's on the backs of the Padres. So you got a new shortstop, you got Fernando coming back, there's a lot of moving parts going on there.
Yep.
And they just have to continue to grind it out and figure it out together. But I'm not going to say it causes concern because they got a lot of veterans. I don't never count out veterans. I wouldn't count out young guys, but I tend to have less faith in young guys because they don't really understand August and September baseball yet. But you got a group of guys who understand those latter years of the season. So I'm not yet concerned.
Adam, we just had a conversation about your former teammate Manny Machado, who took a ball to the back of the hand on Monday and sat out yesterday. Bob Melvin says, hopefully going to be fine here either today or after an off day on Thursday. But got us talking. We know Manny posts. We know he's got a high pain tolerance. He wants to be out there. What in your mind, though, is the right level of, playing in terms of, hey, I'm at 90%. Obviously, you're out there. I'm at 80%. Obviously, you're out there. When you get down, though, and you go, I've got about 50% of myself. When do you have to say, I don't know if I'm doing more or less for my team at this point by forcing my way or demanding my way into the lineup? And I'm not saying Manny's doing that, but it's got to be a tough internal, debate for a professional athlete to know when they're doing more harm than good.
Right. Manny knows, I mean, he's supposed to be in that lineup every single day unless, his leg is turned the other way. But, when you, I don't know, it's kind of it's a hard place because when he's in the middle in the beginning of a huge contract. So it's okay to take 2 weeks off and let whatever heals, but that's not his forte. That's never been his forte. Some other guys would just be like, hey man, I need 2-3 weeks. Let me go and heal this. I don't care. I got a back-end contract. That's not Manny's forte. He was over in Baltimore with us, and he's seen myself, JJ Hardy, Wieters, Markakis, Davis. He's seen us battle through injuries and just battle through the grind and, pick and choose our battles, but always post up for the game. So I just think in his DNA, it's about pretty much better than most other guys. So, but at the same time, early in the season, if you're going through something, this is the right time to address those type of things because, as we know, injuries linger on. So I personally don't know what's going on with him or anybody else, but I do know about injuries and things linger on if you don't nip them in the bud early, especially, if you got a sore this or sore this, but if you got like a tweaked hamstring or a tweaked groin, things like that could really linger and cause a lot of problems down the road. So I don't know what's going on with him. I'd probably call him and find out, but he's smart. He knows his body. He's 30. He's only getting older. So he knows his body. So I just hope that he makes the right decisions and sometimes take the advice of older guys with Cruz being there and Bob Melvin, who, has been around a long time and understands the game.
So one thing I have in common with Manny Machado, I also am only getting older.
Yes, that's literally the only thing. Well, what does it say? We're talking to Adam Jones here on Ben and Woods. And what does it say to you, AJ, when if you're another guy on the team, maybe a younger guy or maybe not, maybe even a veteran, that he is insisting on fighting his way into the lineup, even though he's scuffling offensively, even though he's not 100%? Is that a boost to you when you look around and you go, all right, man, this guy's wanting to be in there. I better bust it.
Well, I mean, he's getting an astronomical amount of money. I ain't counting the man's chips, but he's getting paid a lot of money to post every day.
Fair enough.
That's fair enough. That's just how it works. I mean, I didn't create that rule. I just know that when I signed a long-term contract, Tony Gwynn said, okay, now you show him what you can really do.
Yep.
And from that moment on, you see, I played even harder from that moment because, I want to, you got the money, but you want to go out and every day prove that it was worth it. But at the same time, he doesn't need to prove that. No one needs to prove that. You proved it by them giving it to him. But at the same time, as you get older, it is smarter to preserve yourself. He plays a very demanding position and he plays it incredibly great. And he dives all over the place. He gives his body up. He sacrifices his body a lot for the position and while he's on base. So, that over time, it takes its toll. When you're on bases a lot and you dive a lot, it takes its toll. That's a problem with being good, I guess, is that you're always involved in the action. So, I'm going to reach out to him and see what's going on with him and, see if I can offer some advice. But at the same time, I know his answer.
Talking to Adam Jones here on Ben and Woods. And I don't know if you saw the game last night or maybe this morning where you are, but Rougned Odor was the go-ahead run in the 8th inning. Got picked off for that final out.
Yeah.
Is that the worst feeling? I mean, to get picked off or, everyone strikes out, but is it dropping a fly ball? Is it getting picked off? I mean, it's got to be just a pit in the stomach when you realize, oh, what did I just do?
I mean, striking out and stuff like that, okay, that happens. That's the pitcher making a nasty pitch. Getting picked off in that situation, unless you're doing, something where the pitcher is a not good defender or not good in PFPs, or you're trying to trick them and, you're trying to trick them. 8th inning in that situation, I mean.
And Odor said, no, that was me. I made a mistake, he said.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's no other way to combat that. Rougned's been around for a long time. He knows the game. He's been in all the situations. He's been at the top and bottom. So he knows he messed up in that situation. And that the thing is that they were making a great comeback, and the Royals let the Padres back in the game big time.
Big
I
time.
mean, it's just some absolute terrible errors. I mean, geez. But they let them back in the game, and that right there, again, who knows what happens within that back. Person could have struck out, could have rolled over, but you eliminate that by getting picked off in that situation, and the ninth inning got sealed. But it was a hell of a comeback. But these are games that you need to win. These are games that other teams at the top of the league do not lose. So obviously the Padres know that. I'm not preaching to the choir here. So they just need to find something, get them on the roll. And when they get on the roll and they get hot, I mean, good things happen.
Can I ask Adam, just because this blew our mind, how old do you think Rougned Odor is?
Oh, I think he just got 30, 31.
Yeah. He just turned 30 or 29. Yeah.
I think
we both thought he was like in his late 30s. He's been around for so long.
Forever.
We were stunned when he came to San Diego and found that he was like 29.
He got called up when he was 19.
Yep. We've been like around a decade.
That's the other one, Adam.
Hey, crazy thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm saying crazy thing is I think his brother, his name Rougned, and his dad's name is Rougned, and his uncle's name is Brothers. Crazy family.
It's like the George Foreman family.
Yeah.
Just George.
I was going to ask you, all right, so obviously that sucks when you get picked up. I thought he did a pretty good job of staying in the rundown. Xander is in that no man's land. So if you're Xander Bogaerts there knowing, all right, Rugi just got picked off, you're fine if you get thrown out at the plate, right? Because it's not going to be on you. You just got to pick your spot and go.
Yeah, 100%. If Bogey went and got thrown out, no one would have been like, "Oh man, it's your fault" at all. And you had a lefty first baseman.
Yep.
Which just gives you, a half a second more, time to get down there. If you go, there's no one ever going to say anything about you. If Rougned gets picked off there and he just gets picked up like what happens last night, it's all the blame's going on him and nothing goes on Bogey. But again, situational. It just sucks in that situation. If it's a tie game, you're trying to make something happen. I get it.
Sure.
There's certain scenarios for it. I like the aggression. If you get picked off leaving, or like if you left early, like trying to sneak attack a stolen base or something, I get it. If you just get naturally picked off, if you're not stealing, that's where I would have. I mean, I think people would be like, "Man, what the hell are you doing?" Because you should have a one-way lead if you're not running.
Talking to Adam Jones here on 97.3 The Fan. So we didn't ask you, are you just still in Barcelona this morning?
Mm-hmm.
How much longer? When's the house going to be done? You coming back to the States?
It looks like the hell if I know. The permits are for forever. I think we're going through another process. I think we got one more process before we can break ground.
Oh,
so
okay. You're still in the planning stages. Okay.
In a few weeks. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's still in a few weeks. So after that is we can break ground. But my wife's happy about it because she's like, well, I get to live abroad for as long as until it's built. So
amazing.
Well, we're here, so
it's a win-win.
Yeah, let me know if you need someone to go by the site and light a fire under the contractor's butt, or
can you imagine?
Talk to the art jury or something. I can try to pull some strings for you.
He
from
knows
here
people
in San Diego. I do know some people
several times.
Here's what he really
the art
wants.
jury, man. They are just tough.
He wants you back here so that you will take him golfing.
Okay.
That's what he wants. That's
all.
That's all he
I
wants.
do want to go golfing with Adam. No doubt about it.
100%. That will happen. That will happen. Well, man, we appreciate you as usual. Stay safe, stay healthy. Let's shoot some texts and tell these guys to hit some fastball. Worst team in baseball on the fastball, Adam. Which is wild with all these hitters. It's wild to see.
Ooh.
You live for it, right? That's what you're hunting every single day.
Best pitch to hit.
That's
Easiest pitch to hit.
Easiest. I know, except for that 104
Unless it's a
from Chapman to Cronenworth last night. Where I said, "Oh my God, 104!" People even in our chat were going, "Oh man, you got to swing at least." I'm like, "For what? What's the point?"
I
It's 104
I
miles
said
an
it. I
hour.
go, oh come on. Never mind. 104. Never mind.
104.
That looks like a golf ball.
Yeah.
That's really hard.
That's very fast. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate
Talk to you next week.
Always.
There he is, Adam Jones on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Yeah, they had That Duran of the Twins.
Oh my God.
That guy was
101
nasty.
Sinker on the May. May had some nasty stuff. This cat, Aroldis Chapman, is rediscovered the fountain of youth in Kansas City. He's going to be traded at the
Like
deadline.
at first, all I saw was the location of that place. It was right down the
And
middle.
then this weekend, Kenley Jansen's coming in, and he's up the
rediscovered.
velocity again. He got his 400th save recently, now with the Boston Red Sox, and he'll be visiting Petco Park this weekend as their closer.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Our closer, Josh Hader, looked really, really good last night in a non-safe situation, but he hadn't pitched in 6 days. You got to get him some work. He'll be fine today.
And you always regret it. If he goes out there and has to throw a 25-pitch inning, and all of a sudden you can't use him today, you're kind of bummed. So that was perfect. 11 pitches, I think it was.
Dominant.
Obviously, he could go today if you needed him, and then there's an off day tomorrow. So I think it worked out ideally to keep him sharp. You can't just sit a guy for would end up being like 10 days if they didn't use him today. So glad Bob Melvin got him in, and glad he got a quick 1-2-3 inning as well in that situation. Gave the Padres a chance in the bottom of the ninth. Didn't happen, but the relief pitchers, the bullpen did their job.
Oh, they were spectacular.
Yesterday.
They were absolutely spectacular yesterday. All of them.
It's what's so maddening again about the Padres. This all almost started when Hader gave up the home run.
Yeah.
Obviously, the bullpen, Honeywell, the bullpen has been part of this struggle. The offense has been part of the struggles, and then the starting pitching was great. Of course, yesterday it's the starting pitching,
and the bullpen was aces,
that lets him down. It like floats around one day to the next.
Yeah, hey, you guys have the defense. It's your turn
we'll do
to
two,
take the turn.
We'll do two or three. If there's 4 things: starting pitching, relief pitching, offense, and defense. Padres will do 3 out of 4 well every single day. But one thing will let them down, and it will cost them the win.
Man, somebody's got to loosen that clubhouse up. They need to loosen up a little bit. And I know people will point to them laughing on the bench the other day. We talked about that ad nauseum, but you need to loosen up a little bit and go out there and beat this team, because you're better than them. And I know you're not playing like it right now. Loosen up, have some fun on a beautiful day in San Diego, and go out and win this series today.
It's so easy to say, but you just go out and you have a good game where you put some runs up early, you pile on, you score 12.
The more innings
that carries over to the next day.
100%.
They could get out of this so fast.
So fast.
But they just need a little confidence, need a little bit of swagger, and we're not seeing it right now. All right, we'll come back. Rindle Report, final hour of Ben and Woods next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. it makes you feel any better, probably doesn't. But if it does, Mets may be struggling even more than the Padres right now.
Mightily.
They lost to the Rays 8-5 yesterday, dropping to 20-23, same record as the Padres at about $100 million more in payroll. And their fans are even more upset than Padres fans. Justin Verlander, making his home debut for the Mets, got vociferously booed at Citi Field last night.
I mean,
when he did not exactly have a stellar first start.
What's he making?
Justin Verlander, like 40 something
$45
million a year. Yeah, he went 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks against obviously the hottest team in baseball. Rays are on pace for like 120 wins this year, 32-11.
Just lost one of their big arms, Rasmussen, to flexor strain. They burned through them, man. They're pitching. They've had a lot of guys on the IL already this year, but seemingly there's this never-ending pool of big, tall right-handers and left-handers that can come in throwing 97 with 2 feet of run on every pitch they throw. So, I don't know how they breed them down there in Tampa Bay, but they're losing a lot of guys too. But they continue to find ways to win.
Dodgers ran into Bailey Ober the same way the Padres did last week, and they had their 6-game winning streak snapped last night by the Minnesota Twins 5-1. Look out behind you though, Padres. The Giants beat the Phillies 4-3 and are now just a half game behind the Padres.
This is hell
for third place in the National League West.
Already.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Last night I looked at what the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers were doing after we lost. I did. I went right to it. I go, dummy, it's May. It's May. All-Star break. Start looking at the standings. But right now, please don't look at the standings. I did.
Some of the you're right. The standings don't really matter yet. However, I will say that for everyone who's worried about not making the playoffs, it's always a concern. I mean, more
guaranteed to
more
anyone.
teams don't make the playoffs than do make the playoffs. Currently, the 3 teams that are sitting in the National League wild card positions are the Pirates, Diamondbacks, and Marlins.
Okay.
None of those 3 teams was expected to be there at the end of the season. I keep more of a close eye on what the Phillies and the Mets are doing.
Yeah.
Both, 20 and 22, 20 and 23. Really what you want to see the Padres do is get going a little faster than those
guys.
teams.
100%.
Hopefully put a little distance between you and them before they get going, as opposed to the opposite, where the Phillies and Mets you think are going to get going at some point, right? I mean, they'll probably start playing well. They're probably thinking, well, the Padres are going to start playing well. Be the first team to do that and build a little cushion over those other guys before it does get to the nitty-gritty in August and September.
Yeah, the Mets have gone down into the farm trying to get a spark. Ben, they've called up their prospect Mark Vientos, who is Ken Rosenthal, I think. Keith Law had him as number 7 in their prospects, and he apparently is a masher. He's hit 40 home runs at AAA in his career in just 150 games, which that's a lot of bombs in 150 games. That's a lot of bombs. 942 OPS. He's just been crushing it down there. So again, there's no clear role for him yet, but I think he's going to DH for them and try to give him a little bit of a spark, because Daniel Vogels and Tommy Pham are not getting the job done in the DH spot. So he'll have an opportunity. And how nice is that to be able to go down to the farm for a slugging guy that can get a spark to your team?
So again, too early for scoreboard watching, but not too early to start playing well and maybe giving yourself a cushion against some of these teams at some point.
We'll feel, if they go out and win today, obviously I'll be happy. You won the series against the Royals. I think it's normally, I would say, to expect your team to sweep that's a tough ask of in a 3-game set, though, against a team like the Royals, you do feel like you let one get away yesterday. Certainly. Sweeping is very, very hard to do. Beating the same team 3 times in a row, very tough. Should have been done. You should have swept this series. So now you have to, this is a salvage of a series win, which doesn't happen very often. Salvaging a series win does not happen very often. And that's how, unfortunately, I'm going to feel after this if they win today.
All the eyes of the basketball world were on some ping pong balls last night. Let's get some headlines from Paulie in today's Roundel Report.
And get things started here with our
Today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul. All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right.
All right. Ben, thanks for the tease. We will start off in the NBA. Yesterday, Lakers and Nuggets had game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Nuggets won that one by 6 points. But the before that was the NBA Draft Lottery, the winner of which will get the rights to Victor Wembanyama. And, I mean, I just don't really know how to describe how good of a prospect this guy is. It's as good of a basketball prospect as there's ever been.
Pretty awesome.
They were saying this is the most highly anticipated draft, which will happen, I don't know, it's usually like the 3rd week of June. The highest anticipated draft since 2003 when LeBron went to the Cavs. And so they did the lottery yesterday. We talked about it. There were 3 teams that had a 14% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. And it ended up going to the San Antonio Spurs, who will certainly draft the 7'5", fast, ball handling, 3-point shooting, defensive wizard Victor Wembanyama.
Just a complete unit
At 7'5".
7'5".
8-foot wingspan. He blocks everything that comes
amazing.
around him. I watched some highlight videos yesterday because I was telling Megan, I'm like, I can't explain how good this guy is. It's not even a question. He will be the number 1 pick, and just the way he moves like he looks like Steph Curry if he was 7'5", dude. I mean,
incredible.
He moves like a guard, defends like a freaking center. It's just unbelievable.
Probably some mixed feelings in the NBA league offices. San Antonio isn't exactly a premier market, media market for the NBA. However, they have a nice pedigree, obviously, of championships under Greg Popovich. And
like, they're not the Lakers, they're not the Celtics, but they're a premier franchise.
Yeah.
They've won 5
on the court.
You know, they've had the number 1 pick 3 times in the lottery. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Victor Wembanyama.
5 rings.
It's not if you get it, it's when you get it. And they have had the perfect storm, because after Tim Duncan, I believe they made the playoffs like 22 straight years. So no lottery for 22 years. They're finally back in it the last 2 years, and they get another potentially franchise-changing player.
You hear what their general manager said? This eyewash bit. He says, well, we've got 6 weeks and we have a lot of work to do. When asked directly who they'll select, he said a lot of analysis.
Yeah,
you don't. There's no analysis.
The team owner was a little bit more.
What would they have to
vocal.
find out behind the scenes to not take this guy at this point?
Basically, it's this. Everyone, this is going to be a grind when the draft starts. I need everyone to take 6 weeks off. Go enjoy yourselves and get prepared for the grind of having a superstar here again and building to win a title.
Now, Wembanyama is still playing his season right now in France. He had a game yesterday, so he was there in Paris on a feed. He wasn't in the United States, but he seemed pretty happy about it. And I guess the Spurs are a very popular team in France because of Tony Parker.
Oh, yeah.
It's his team always. So they're one of the more popular teams in France. So kind of not a bad thing. And obviously going to play for a Hall of Fame coach in Greg Popovich. There are some positives there for Victor Wembanyama.
Well, and listen, if you want any place in America that's going to remind you of the beauty that is Paris and France, it's San Antonio. The cuisine.
The architecture.
When you get there to San Antonio, of which I've been many times, the strip malls, you're going to lose your mind. The rolling hills, the beauty that encapsulates San Antonio.
Do they still make the paste salsa there?
I think
by folks in San Antonio who
so.
know what picante salsa tastes like.
Correct.
This stuff's made in New York City.
He's going to go down to their big draw. Even my wife, who grew up here, was like, I want to go to San Antonio for the river walk. I'm like, you don't need to see the river walk. All right, it's a bunch of really You can go to Hooters on the river walk and have wings, and there's a little water running through. We live next to the Pacific Ocean. The river walk on the beach here. You're good.
I went to the Alamo once. Did you?
So boring. It's the most boring city I've ever been to. Like,
you're just kind of walking through this town, and then all of a sudden there's this.
The Alamo.
The Alamo is there. And,
it is just. I've been there so many times, and every time I'm like, oh no, I have to go to San Antonio. It's awful.
Well, for
Bakersfield.
Wemby, he's going to a stable franchise.
Very stable.
Going to be coached
great
by
coach.
one of the best to ever do it.
Perfect.
It's going to be
which
fun.
may be great. That may be the perfect fit.
I don't know that he can turn around that team in 1 year, though.
Right.
They're not exactly loaded with talent. They'll probably be a better free agent destination now. With him there, though.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, Woj was saying last night, he was saying, this is the greatest prospect ever.
In
bar
history.
none.
Wow.
And like by the year 3, they think he should be the MVP of the league.
We always do this to people. We love to do
they
this.
They did it to
media.
LeBron, and
that's true.
he has been every bit and more of what they said he
Did
was
they do
gonna
it to Greg Oden too? Because I remember a lot of hype around Greg Oden and his micro fractures, and it's just tough, man.
Hey,
It's tough.
Portland taking Greg Oden #1 that year. That allowed my beloved Seattle Supersonics to
KD.
sneak in there and get
KD.
Kevin Durant. I got
That's
to
right.
watch him for 1 year.
Yep,
in high school.
1 year. That's it.
It's a fun year, but 1 year. Some sports media news I thought was interesting. I'm not the world's biggest fan of the Pat McAfee show, but that's just because I don't watch a lot of it.
Yeah.
I see the clips, and I actually probably would. I think I would like it.
I think I would too.
I think there's a lot that they do that he does
It's,
that I would
there's-
enjoy.
There's a little jealousy on my part.
Sure.
There's a lot of jealousy
That
on
he
my
can
part.
get
a weekly with Aaron Rodgers.
giant big name athletes. And it's not just Aaron Rodgers. He gets other guys
Oh,
that
yeah.
come on as well.
Breaking news and stuff. Yeah, he's been doing it the right way, and there's a lot that I do respect about him. In particular, when he was is this key word there with FanDuel. He signed a 4-year, $120 million contract to take his show and be sponsored by FanDuel
on YouTube.
And they were running it on YouTube. And dude, he was giving boatloads of cash to all his producers and
Hooked
the
them up.
staff and everybody that helped get that show to that point. He seems like a genuinely a pretty cool dude. I
Does
just
it the-
don't
does it the right
expose
way.
myself to a ton of his show, but he's moving to ESPN now.
It's nuts.
And
I think
he's
his
worked-
loyal fans are like, oh no, dude.
It's the nature of the business. His show is on YouTube. He dropped an F-bomb every other word.
Yeah.
That was kind of their style, and they could have a lot more creative freedom. That's going to go away when you go to ESPN.
Going to be polished.
Now, he's done College Game Day with ESPN, so it's not like he's completely foreign to the network, but he's leaving FanDuel. He's going to keep his show on YouTube as well as ESPN and ESPN Plus. I'm reading from the New York Post here. It says, it appears McAfee will walk away from his 4-year, $120 million deal with FanDuel. He's in the second year of that agreement.
That's it.
And the amount that ESPN will pay him is not fully known, but it is rumored to be, or it is more than 8 figures per year.
Oh, for this job. We do the same job.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good.
He's really
He's
good.
He's not that good.
Eight
I mean,
figures
is he
good?
really?
Is he 8 figures?
Is he
good?
really 200 times better than we are at this job? I don't think so. I really don't.
He wears a tank top. I
That's
can't wear a
true.
tank top.
That's very true.
You want to disgust our audience? Let's all show up in tank tops tomorrow. Disgusting. Repugnant.
I mean,
that
if we-
should be a
I-
losing bet.
I bet I-
have to wear a tank top on the show.
I mean, my calves probably are comparable to
That's
his
true.
calves.
That's
He's got
true.
a following though, and that's worth a lot of money.
Following
to these
is
networks.
worth a lot
I
of
just
money.
pulled up his YouTube page. He's live. He's doing a show right now
Is he?
as we speak. He's got 2.2 million subscribers. Those are the dedicated fans.
How many do we have?
Does he do a monthly watch the game and talk to them though?
How many do we have, Paul?
He's got 2.2 million. We have 2.5 thousand.
Yes.
So we're coming for that.
2 million thousand.
Million thousand.
Million thousand. Yeah. But still, I mean, just to walk away from a $120 million deal, I'm like, good God, what is he going to get from
Lord.
ESPN? And by the way, ESPN, part of ABC and Disney.
Yeah.
Disney's laid off, they said they're going to be laying off 7,000 people over the next, few weeks and months. ESPN, definitely part of that. ABC's part of that. And I'm like, well,
signing that deal.
7,000 layoffs, but they got the money to bring in.
Yeah,
Matt?
I see little clips here and there. I don't. I mean, it's gonna surprise you guys. I don't listen to a lot of other sports radio. I listen to radio a lot, but I don't listen to a lot of other sports. Mostly because I don't want to steal ideas.
Right.
That's what I don't want to do. I there's so many people that I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I want my own take on this. I don't want yours. It may be better than mine. So I just typically stay away. But yeah, good for him, man. That's make a lot of money doing essentially what we do for a pittance of that cost.
It's a grind.
See how lucky Adam is to have us?
He's very well paid, but it's his grind, man.
That's
To
a
do a
grind.
Monday through Friday show
It's
and
gnarly.
then hop on a plane because you got to fly out to, Texas Station or something, College Station.
But
to do
wait,
a-
so now he's not doing 2 shows though, right? He's going to just keep his ESPN on YouTube for those people that
they're
have
gonna
gotten used.
simulcast.
Okay, good for
And
him.
finally, a 28-year-old in Colorado was pulled over last weekend on suspicion of DUI.
Who was?
A 28-year-old in Colorado.
So far, this is not an earth-shattering headline.
No, it's not. But the next sentence here. While he was pulled over at the last minute before the cop approached his car, he tried to switch places with his passenger to make it look, hey, I wasn't driving.
Wasn't me.
Problem was, his passenger was his dog.
There was a passenger, but the dog. It's not going to work. You're better off
It's not
just going,
like
"Yeah,
it's not like I was driving with my wife or a buddy in the front
Can
seat.
you
I'm like,
switch?
let's go, switch. It was his dog.
Can I see your license and registration?
The cop was
Buddy.
the cop actually witnessed him trying to switch places in his car as he was walking up to the vehicle, and the man did.
Can you keep your paws on the wheel, please?
God.
He doubled down. He didn't admit that he was caught in the act. He told the cop he wasn't driving the
It
car.
wasn't me.
And then he got out of the passenger door and he tried to make a run for it, which is
Always
never
smart.
a good decision.
Always a good move.
He made it, they say, about 20 yards before he was tackled, caught, and arrested. It says here that the dog wasn't the only passenger in the car. There were 2 sober people in the back seat.
The dog
But the
sat
dog
in
was
the
riding
front,
shotgun.
though.
God.
Why he didn't try to climb over the seats and switch with somebody that, the sober human in the back seat. I
Or
don't
just
know.
let them
You
drive.
let the sober
Let
person
them
drive.
Yeah,
Let them drive.
That would be the first point. But
Good Christ almighty, buddy.
the dog
Let's take-
was,
look-
the
look
dog
at
was
him.
not
He's thinking
arrested.
of a joke
I was,
right now.
no,
Look.
I was wondering what happened to the dog.
He was not arrested.
He's not facing charges of
No.
any kind.
CPS
Okay, good.
came.
His license was not
Took him away.
revoked.
CPS.
Yeah, DPS. Dog Protective Services. Came, grabbed him. He's in a new home now. He's being rehomed. Don't drink and
Safer
drive.
environment.
Do not drink and drive.
Dog's
Please
like-
don't drink.
Dog's like, F you, man. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I guess you're going to jail again. Thank you, Paulie.
You're welcome.
I'm no longer man's best friend.
I want to talk more about Adam's picture.
Yeah, we're going to interview him next.
Yes, we are going to bring in
And ask
the
him why
man
we don't
in
make
charge
$140 million.
of the #1 radio station for men, 25-54. By the way, we're actually doing very well with the female demographic as well. We're top 5 in all adults, including women, which is unheard of for a sports station.
Really, really,
But
really special.
We're going to talk with our fearless leader coming up here with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Ben and Woods, 9:25 on a Wednesday morning. We got early Padres baseball for you today. 1:10 first pitch. Rubber game of the series against the Royals. 12:10 pregame show, and then a little extended Chris and Scraby after the game until 7 o'clock, I believe.
Is that they call it the rubber
tonight.
game because you have to be careful?
No.
Why?
No. You call it the rubber game because the series can bend either way depending on the outcome of the final game.
I like mine. You got to be careful to not lose the game.
Like a pot holder of some sort.
No,
it's hot. You don't want to touch it.
You want to make sure that you're careful that
Rubber
you don't.
gloves. Oh, like
that.
Like a
Yes.
prophylactic.
Correct.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You don't lose that game, and then you lose the series. I think that's where it stemmed from.
All right. Well, that's
not a bad.
theory.
It's not a bad theory.
That is a theory for sure.
Be very careful to not lose this game today to the Kansas City Royals.
So I have a question for our boss, Adam, who has sat down with us. I know
Morning,
you've got
Adam.
a few as well. Good morning. And again, congratulations. So for the last, I don't know, 2 to 3 years, I've been locking out every segment with, and you're listening to San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Sure.
Do I need to change that now? Should I just say, are you listening to San Diego's #1 station, 97.3 The Fan?
I feel a lot more confident in the slogan being true longer for this #1
Yeah,
sports
I mean,
station than the #1 radio
Yeah, we
station.
might not
That's
be
a big
#1
accomplishment.
every single month, but this month we are, and we're reveling in it this morning. Woods,
Congratulations to you guys as well. A big part of what we do here at 97.3 The Fan.
thank you.
No, we don't need any credit. We're good.
Really, you don't want any credit at all,
None whatsoever. It has nothing to do with us.
Mr. Humility.
We just got
over
lucky.
there.
We got lucky.
So for those on the YouTube stream, obviously my hair is looking a lot different than it did in the picture.
Yeah.
Huh?
I got to
that
ask you
picture?
so many questions. All right, so the picture's up. It's I explained it earlier. He looks like a Beastie Boy. From back in the early 80s, perhaps. Now you got a white shirt on, a jacket. You're holding a Michelob.
I don't think it's a jacket. I think that's a button-up shirt.
Unbuttoned,
Got
just to let
unbuttoned.
the
It was one of those kind of nice.
I know. how
Two
that
sizes
goes.
too large for you.
Yes,
That's in,
that's a
large.
shirt. Yep.
I heard you guys earlier. That is not a dormitory. That is our fraternity house.
Okay, fraternity house.
Frat house.
That is
Is that a security camera then in the corner? What is that?
Absolutely not. I think it's a motion center.
Okay.
deviants that they were. Michelob in your hand.
Michelob Light.
How
looks
old
like.
are you there? 18?
Absolutely over 21 years old,
Look
without
at-
a doubt.
Look at him.
What? There it looks like there's a speck of something in my hair. I don't know.
That's cocaine, I think, is from your
Definitely
hair.
had the pick and picked it out.
Did you really?
Oh, absolutely.
So what?
Did you get
how
like
long-
crumbs in there? That's
How long did
yeah.
you go with that look?
Well, I mean, that look, my hair wasn't always puffed out like that. It was, if you take the pick and pick it out, it can get to
Well,
that.
how did you wear it?
That was the
It was-
style.
it was
in-
tighter.
Tighter.
It-
What,
I
are we
mean, it
talking
was-
about right around 2000? When is this?
That's about 2004-ish.
2004. I mean, that was the style.
2005.
Giant.
No, this was
Giant
like a
curly hair.
one night thing.
Okay.
Like my hair was long, but it would be like I don't know, like a girl
So
that
you
has long
didn't go
hair.
to
You have it in a
class.
bun,
And a
but it's long hair, and if you undo the bun, it comes out, right? Like so, my hair was tight.
Did you put your hair in a bun?
No, but
Oh.
I'm just saying the hair was long, but it wasn't always puffed out like that. Come on,
So you
didn't
didn't like
walk
go to
around
class.
UGA
So,
like that.
so you didn't rock it like that.
That was a
No.
one.
It'd be kind of cooler
If you wore
did,
a hat,
actually.
did it like stick out
Out the
from
side. Did you look
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Dustin May?
Yeah, I had some crazy hat hair.
How often do you get your hair cut now? You got the buzz
Once a week.
once a week.
Would
okay.
it turn back into
If
that?
if you let it
If
go,
you could let it,
would
because you're not.
would it go back?
That's the eternal question, and I like to tell myself that I'm not going bald, that I could grow my hair out.
All
Like
right,
that
so
if I
here's
wanted to.
the next challenge.
Up here might disagree with me, but you know,
Here, the next challenge is you have to grow your hair out until we're #1 again. So you have to grow it out and let
Until
it
we're not number
until we're
one.
not #1 again. Yeah, keep
And
growing.
then you can get another haircut.
Right.
there could be some rough in between stages there.
I know
Yeah.
it's very the tweener. Well, listen, congratulations. I'm glad you enjoyed your Michelob, and we couldn't do it without you, man. We appreciate you.
Well, I've got to take a moment to say thank you for all the kind words that you guys said about me earlier this morning. They definitely hit home and were much appreciated, and I could tell that they were heartfelt. And I I hope you guys know that I feel the same way about
Well,
you.
you're normally Adam stands about 5'7". Today he is officially 6 feet. As he's
But if he
walking
lets his
around.
hair grow out, he'll
He's
be Victor
6'4".
Wembanyama.
Fletch is 6'1" with the afro 6'9". Yeah, that's exactly right. Congratulations!
Thank you.
It's a massive accomplishment, especially for a sports station. It's great. So it's good to be
And
a
can
part
I
of.
just take a moment to thank our amazing audience as well? Because
Yes.
we couldn't do what we do without the audience, and everything that we do is for the audience.
Yeah.
Everything we do is to serve you guys.
Mega
There you go. we live to serve
And that
provide
audience,
great content.
That audience in the chat wants to know, Adam, as the brand manager, is it extra sweet?
Is it extra sweet?
That 97.3 The Fan is number one.
because it's against the Dodgers? Second place. I mean, this is still a thing. It's second place.
Yeah.
If it had won, okay, but I got beat.
But we won. So we won.
It's extra
sweet.
It's absolutely extra
Then
sweet.
Adam will just say to you, "Good morning."
This is Adam, whose hands are in the photo. Yeah, whose hands were in the photo?
I have no idea whose hands that was.
Somebody's reaching in with
Another beer.
Another
next to you.
Michelob.
There's a
Adam,
chance-
have another Michelob.
There's a chance I don't remember very much from that night.
Good Lord.
Michelob.
Look at
Some
you
days are better than others.
I like Michelob, actually. Suck down a few. I have one right now, an ice
Can't
cold
remember the last time
Michelob.
I had a Michelob.
Freaking fantastic, man. You can do a lot worse than Michelob.
I did think you had an interesting conversation earlier when you were asking, did I make the promise, like thinking I would never have to pay up?
Was it like I'll promise something and I don't
And
think
so
it'll
I
ever
heard
happen.
you guys say that, and I was thinking about it, and it's kind of somewhere in the middle. I didn't think it was as much of a long shot as the Oakland A's winning
Right.
the World
True.
Series, but it also wasn't the Houston Astros either. So I
Right.
tried to think about it. I think it would, when I said what I said, it was kind of like the Milwaukee Brewers
Yeah.
winning the World Series.
100%. Could
I have-
absolutely happen.
I have a lot of faith in what our station does, but at the same time, like, not to get into the weeds, but it's a sports station that hasn't been around as long as a lot of the other more established radio stations. And so I thought it could happen. I'm really confident in what we do as a team.
History's
but-
not on our side.
Right.
Exactly.
History's not on our side.
But I could see the Brewers making a run.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of, great starting pitchers and whatever. So I think the Brewers would be my apt comparison for when I made the comments.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, thank you for everything you do. It's an honor to serve you every day, my friend.
All
And
right,
our audience.
we'll come back. We got a matchup to break down today a little bit with the Padres and the Royals. Also, second golf major of the years this week. We haven't even brought it up once.
Not
yet.
even one time in 3 days.
Not once yet.
And this is like it's like the afterthought of the majors. It is.
It used to be the last major.
Right.
Now the PGA Championship's the second major. It's a better spot on the calendar.
Better spot. Okay, maybe it'll get some cachet.
But I don't know if it really makes it any more important than it used to be.
Weird how that
But
works.
I do want to at least get a little look-see at what's going to be happening this week.
Don't
get
ever
to
say
that
look-see again.
coming up on San Diego's #1 station, 97.3 The Fan. We were doing our hangout with our YouTube stream last night. I had the Lakers game on behind me.
Yeah.
I wasn't really paying that close attention, though we were all talking and watching the Padres game, but I turn my head every once in a while and see them down 10, then down 15, and then down 18
down
at
18
half,
at
and
one
then
point,
21 was the and then I stopped kind of looking, and then all of a sudden I heard, I think Wood said, hey, it's a 10-point game again, and I turned around, and then all of a sudden I looked back, and it was a 6-point game, and then they hit a 3, and it was a 3-point game, and I go, holy cow, this is going to be a back-breaking loss for the Denver Nuggets to have had a 20-plus point lead at home in game 1. They lose to the Lakers. They might not recover from that. However, LeBron put up a kind of an ill-advised 3, turned into a breakaway dunk at the other end for the Nuggets. That turned a 3-point game into a 5-point game, and after that, Lakers just weren't able to make anything happen and ended up being a 6-point win, 132-126. Probably told you earlier in the Rindle report. And now I'm kind of wondering whether the Lakers spent all of their energy on a comeback that didn't materialize. And now they get another game tomorrow, game 2, second, third day at altitude, only going to be harder on the lungs. And you had Anthony Davis, who was great, scored 40, but LeBron, they both played big time minutes. And now I wonder if the Nuggets have them right where they want them
Probably.
in the first 2 games of this series.
They're doing what they're supposed to do, winning at home. And yeah, if you can get that other one.
Or did the Lakers figure something out and they just come out playing like they did in the second half and, romp in game 2 and even the series and send it back to LA? So there's a couple of different theories going right now in the Western Conference Finals. Tonight in
Celtics Heat,
Boston.
You told me walking to the water cooler the other day, Boston's the best team remaining.
I think so.
What's the
Denver fans might disagree with that. They can be very good, but Boston's done it. They've won championships. I think they're the deepest, best overall lineup.
Interesting.
Lakers have been
championship.
Lakers have been the best defensive team in the playoffs. Denver's been the best offensive team in the playoffs. That's always an interesting matchup, but Denver's the best defensive team the Lakers have played so far. Memphis and Golden State didn't really stop them offensively, but Denver can slow down the Lakers a little bit.
Boston favored by 8 tonight at home.
Game 1.
A lot of points, yeah.
Spoelstra, though, Jimmy Butler,
playoff Jimmy Butler.
The Heat have some sort of magic going. Not quite sure.
Now that Basketball Ben has made an appearance today, got to ask. We haven't talked about this yet. What's Basketball Ben doing at like 7:00 tomorrow night? Because we've mentioned it.
Oh, that's right.
I have joined an adult basketball league. We're called the Tier 1s.
Tier 1s.
I only knew like 2 of the guys before we all started playing together, and they're all listeners of the show. And there's a couple of guys in particular that have been literally begging me every week, when is Basketball Ben going to show up and coach one of our games?
Would be the greatest.
I got a guy, Chris. He wants you to sign his shoes. He said he will leave his soul on the court, triple-double guaranteed, if Ben Higgins can make his way up to Alliant University for a Thursday night men's league game.
It's fantastic.
I think that could happen. I mean, there's no Padres game tomorrow night.
No, off. We need the material, the content.
What kind of perks does the head coach get for the Tier 1?
I think they do free parking there.
Yeah, I'll get you free parking.
Is there like a catered meal of any sort?
There's a water fountain
in the back.
Also, if you go across the highway, I think there's like a Burger King.
Really?
So yeah,
can you look into dining
honest.
options?
They have
it's my dinner break, so I will need to eat at some point.
I got you.
Pack a sandwich.
Scripps Ranch dining options.
I'd never been to AIU before.
I love it. I love that
place. It's a really cool gym. My wife grew up here and said, "Oh yeah, volleyball tournaments there all the time."
Adult League baseball
a huge gym.
Incredible.
They got like 6 courts in this gym. They do have a wall of coin operated, turn the coin and you get like a toy or some candy.
Okay.
Vending machine. You know who went there? Well, it used to be called. Now it's Alliant, but it used to be USIU.
I do know.
And the coach John Quintero is a USIU guy.
What a drop that is.
He's probably famous around those parts in those gyms.
Probably.
Bet his picture is up somewhere in those gyms.
Please go, coach.
All I want to do is zoom, 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 and boom, boom, boom.
That's what he did back in the day.
Zoom,
college,
zoom, and boom,
college
boom, boom.
coach.
I will go to Dick's Sporting Goods. I'll get you a clipboard.
Yeah.
I can draw plays like Hoosiers.
Yeah. Would you run the
Slick
plays
back
he
my hair and
called?
stagger
Pat
in with
Riley.
the alcoholic shakes.
Would
like
you run
Dennis
the
Hopper?
Oh,
Would you run
yes.
the plays he called? Oh my
Yes.
God.
Look, we usually go play man defense. Other teams will
I
play zone.
I run an old school UCLA style offense like John Wooden.
Is that a motion offense?
Well, we're
Or
going to
we-
start. We're going to break out to the wings
Okay.
and then look for back cuts.
Okay.
We're going to have the
Careful.
point guard may dish it off to the wing and then
Can I go
straight
home
to
if
the
you guys are gonna
basket
do
on
this
the
for the
old
next 15 minutes?
the
I don't
old
need to be here.
the old give and go
I don't
is
have
a
to be
great
here for
play.
this, do
The
I?
give and go.
But you'll be there tomorrow if Ben shows up to coach.
He
Can't
goes.
miss that.
What time is it?
7:15.
What's the refereeing like? Is there a chance that I'll
Pretty good
have to,
refs.
scream at the refs a little bit for some better calls?
2 weeks ago, I was surprised that I wasn't ejected from the game for what I had to say to the refs. They were that bad. Last week, the guys were good.
If I go and get ejected in the first 5 minutes, can I just then leave?
Yeah, then you
go
can
home.
leave.
That'll be worth it.
Do
Well,
I have
they're
to
gonna
wait
make
around
you-
to sign shoes afterwards?
You sign the shoes pregame.
Get that done early. just
Nobody
in
wants
case
to
I get-
sign somebody's smelly,
just in case I
just
get
worn
taught.
shoes. Sign the shoes before the game. Please, we have to film it. I guess I have to go and take it. I think Polly, your wife's going. Okay, she said she's going to take video.
Oh, cool.
I got to see this. Will you do the Tarkanian with the towel?
Ooh, I like that one.
I love
Tark
that
the
bit.
shark.
Tark the shark. Just funneling illegal money.
I mean,
we're literally
he
the tier
felt like a
ones.
criminal. I don't know that he was.
He
but
was, I
certainly
think.
felt
Yeah.
like one.
He
Was he just a college basketball criminal, or was he more of a
adjacent to
criminal at
criminalities?
large?
Is still a criminal.
Las
I
Vegas.
think. Yeah, he
the
was
underside, the underseedy underbelly of Las Vegas.
very, very into. There's a couple good documentaries on that whole scene back then, and it was not pretty. From Tark, good coach, obviously. Interesting character, put UNLV on the map. Had some great players, but holy cow.
Won a national championship.
Won a title when I was a kid. I remember that. Remember it well. All right, that's enough basketball,
you
Ben.
talking
All right, enough basketball. We'll get to a topic that I couldn't care less about: golf.
The
after
San
this
Diego
check of traffic
Padres.
on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Jack in the Box. Coastline ride still a little sluggish for you southbound side of the 5, all due to that earlier accident near Cannon, but definitely an improvement from how it was. We've got a car fire now on the westbound 8. Just before El Cajon Boulevard, everything is over to the right shoulder, and traveling on the southbound 15 right at the South 5 connector, we are getting reports of some metal debris in lanes. When's the best time to get sweet, crisp French toast sticks starting at $2.50 now? And when's the next best time? Right after that. They're back and available any time of day at Jack in the Box. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, guess I'm Ben Woods, appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Do we have time to replay the incorporator here in a second? I'll let Paulie call it up.
Yep.
I know you call me the Secretary of Homeland Exploration.
Yes.
You've actually seen a lot more of this country than I have.
Yeah, I've lived in a bunch of different spots.
Not necessarily the nicer parts, though. You've gone.
I've lived in really nice.
Yeah, but you've also traveled like for work to some.
Oh,
of, like,
yeah, I've
San
seen-
Antonio, places that you don't like as much. Have you ever been to Rochester, New York?
I've been close. I've been close. I've been to Oswego, New York, upstate New York.
Upstate New York. That's where the PGA Championship is this weekend, outside of Rochester, New York, at Oak Hill Country Club. First round is tomorrow, second major of the year, and it's not. In the last 20 years, it produced two of the most underwhelming champions at the PGA Championship.
At that course?
Yeah. You remember Sean McKeel, who won in 2003, hit a great 7-iron on the final hole, just like a foot to win. And then Jason Duffner won in like 2015 or sometime around then in the most recent PGA Championship at Oak Hill Country Club in Rochester, New York. So
how's the weather supposed to be?
A little bit windy. They said that the conditions could be tough. Score around par. They're saying like a U.S. Open almost could be pretty good. Just a couple under par, something like that. They think could be winning it. Very tight, narrow fairways, deep rough, thick, long course, old school northeastern track. The co-favorites are John Rahm and Scotty Scheffler.
It's been the co-favorite in every
Pretty
tournament
much.
they've played in.
They've been the two best in golf. Now, Dustin Johnson's an interesting case. He won last week on the LIV Tour, and you just wonder whether the LIV guys, they did pretty well at the Masters. Phil Mickelson finished second. Brooks Koepka
they were
was
really good
in the lead for much of it. Didn't end up winning, but they were right there. You wonder if maybe Dustin Johnson could be one of those guys from the Live Tour who makes some noise this week at Oak Hill.
We shall see. We shall see. Well, is this one of those tournaments we lose you to?
No, it's the PGA Championship. I like to say they're all equal, but you're right.
But they're not.
It's the fourth of the four majors.
Fourth of the four. All right. Maybe we'll have Janelle on or something later in the week and talk to him. We'll see how the first round
interesting's
goes.
happening tomorrow.
Talk,
Yeah.
my
Into
adult
golf
league
talk.
talk.
I mean, this
into
has
golf
really
talk.
been. That's a way to
That's-
take your number one station and crumble it up and light it on fire. Just really well done, you guys. The two of you. I had nothing to do with it. I don't want blame nor credit. That was horrendous. Spin the topic wheel, Paul.
No, we're
Do
going to play the
something.
incorporator. Is what we're
I'd
gonna
rather
do.
do the topic wheel, but that's fine.
Then the incorporator.
Yeah.
Well, let's do them both. I think we have time for both.
We probably do.
We have
Let's do
time for
incorporator.
yesterday's incorporator word with Jesse. Came on
I've
with
got a
us.
word.
All right.
I've got a word. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I had Paulie pull it.
Sialoquent.
Sialoquent. You ever heard that word before?
Sialoquent?
Sialoquent.
Spell it.
No.
Sialoquent. The definition: tending to spray saliva when speaking. Ben is very sialoquent. Very sialoquent.
And then we had we had to wait till the bottom of the eighth inning.
Right. Jesse was doing TV last night with Mud, and he waited until late in the game, and he got it in so naturally.
What a perfect time.
That I was
too.
watching on television. I knew it. I was here, knew the segment, knew the word, and it even slipped past me when I was watching.
Tying run at first base with one away. On the outside corner, and strike three call. Carpenter having a slightly sialoquent conversation with the home plate umpire, Charlie Ramos, and that's the second out of the inning.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
He is
Hey,
very, very good.
Anybody else going to the game today? Ben, are you going down there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll be watching from home and Channel 10.
Watching from home. All right.
I'm gonna miss probably a little bit of the game. I don't have to, but I get to as soon as we get out of here. I'm driving up to Irvine. One of my best friends lives in the Northwest.
That's right.
He is in Irvine for a work trip. I only see him every like 2, 3, 4 years. So he's got like an hour and a half for lunch. So I'm going to drive up there. We're going to get lunch and then I'll cruise back down. So I'll catch most of the game on the radio.
I'm going on Saturday for the Red Sox Padres game this weekend.
Fantastic. I'm going to go today, taking the kids, about to grab them out of school, yank them out, head down to Petco Park. If you see us, make sure to say hello.
All right,
And be
spin
with
it
the whole
one
fam.
time here before the end of the show.
Yep.
What is the scariest dream you've ever had?
Scary dreams.
The falling dream is horrible. Have that once a week.
As a kid, I had recurring nightmares. Not like every night, but it was the same theme. Whenever I did have a nightmare, it
Yeah.
was always kind of the same thing. And it had to do with it was clowns, but like Ronald McDonald in particular, like terrified me as a kid. And in my dream, my parents would be going out for the night and they'd hire a babysitter. And I was able to know that the babysitter was the clown, but the clown, it appeared as a normal babysitter to my parents. And I'm like, you can't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave me with this clown. And Ronald McDonald was there to haunt me. It was
terrifying.
awful.
Never had any, like, I have dreams now about my kids, like, getting kidnapped and stuff, which is horrifying. I had one the other day that I did something, like, I got arrested and they had Bo in this back room and I went to pick him up and they're like, you can't, he's not going with you. You got arrested and you can't take him. And I'm like, for how long? And they're like, well, we'll see. And I woke up Saturday morning, I was panicked. What about you?
My worst dreams are always
your fillet slips onto the floor of the Rolls Royce.
No, I always have dreams about being chased.
Shot
whether
in
it's
84.
Shot in 84
by a people or an animal or some. And I'm always I'm running and
terrifying,
and I'm always trying to get away, and then I feel like I'm safe, and then I have to start running again, and there's always the kind of it's just pursuing me. Something's pursuing me from behind, and I'm trying to escape it.
Save that for tomorrow for some reason.
Oh man. Okay.
Do you ever have a face to it or
not? I mean, it's
are there
usually
noises?
it's usually more kind of like something's coming and I've got to get away from it, and I try to hide and I duck behind.
I would like
things,
to
and
have a dream.
I'm sure there's
interpreter
a psychiatrist who could tell me exactly what that signifies when you have a
The worst
dream where you're
now,
being
like,
chased.
Make a note for off-season topic. Dream analyzer.
Like,
What does it
obviously
mean when
the-
Ben almost gets it from behind? What does that mean, dream analyzer?
Pursued from behind.
Oh, sorry. What does it mean that
What does
Ben's
that
being
mean?
pursued from behind?
The ones that get me now are the ones that it just feels so real in your
Yes,
brain that you wake up. Like, I've had like dream nightmares where like my dog died or like Megan got in a car accident. And I
Terrible.
just wake up, you're like sobbing, and you're like, it felt so real, and it's just terrifying.
It's terrible. Terrible, terrible. Fun show, boys. After a terrible loss, speaking of terrible, let's pick one up today. Let's salvage the series win.
All right, let's pass the baton here on the number one station to the coach John Quintera and Braden Suprenant. For executive producer Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. right here on 97.3 The Fan. Have a great Wednesday.